Like a headband.
Better than me.
Roll20 usually does.
Bad decisions every week.
Yeah. Well,
This is literally every week.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't math.
Live tweeting.
Yeah, like the only ones our other campaigns don't have checked is like the live tweeting and the streaming, and like because we don't stream that one. But that's like
Yeah.
That feels.
Mhm.
Maggie and Kristen and I will sometimes end up live tweeting.
Yeah,
We
well,
live tweet every week. Are you kidding?
everything that the other campaign doesn't have checked, this one definitely does. So I was like, between the two,
Nice.
So Elias and Wuria went in to go go look in on the wounded, which leaves Aiden and Felice and Velis and Kurtanis outside with the sort of shell-shocked merchant folk who are kind of like all sitting around as one of them stirs a pot of something. It's probably like one pot kind of, they just tossed in whatever they had and like kind of like spooning it out into a one of them is like a tin cup. One of them is, it looks like it might be what actually is like a somewhat recessed jar to a pot, or a lid to a pot. But there is actually one bowl that he does manage to spoon in, and they all sort of like quietly start eating. It's still pretty foggy out. It's still early in the morning, and so you've got a heavy marine layer that's kind of come in from the coast over the swamp and marshlands. But what do you all do while Elias and Wuria are busy doing healing magic inside the tower?
And or intimidating the heck out of a monk.
I'd like to scope out the actual like damage to buildings and things like that to see what all this thing was capable of.
Sure.
Same, actually. That's what I was going to go for.
Okay.
I'll help with that. I also want to look for more traces of the monks and like were they living here?
Uh-huh.
Like I want to help with that, but I also want to look into the monks a little bit, if possible.
Sure. There wasn't anyone who was living here. There's a well kind of in the middle of this courtyard. Most of the exterior walls are crumbled and not much higher than a couple of feet at the most.
Okay.
So they're all very, very low. It's like old, sort of smooth, stacked stone that's...
Why did I take damage?
I think that's from like multiple sessions ago.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
No.
I need all my hit points!
Yeah. I need those 4 HP!
Right.
You don't have a lot of them APs.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. There are a number of wagons sort of exterior to the wall that are knocked over on their sides or otherwise collapsed, and the aforementioned ravaged or melted bodies kind of strewn about. But you were going to go look around for evidence of the brothers and whatnot. What is everyone else going to do?
I have no idea, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I feel like Felice mostly didn't go in just because I was too tired to put effort into figuring out what she would do inside, so she just stayed outside, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Wuria suggested she come in and then she didn't.
You can talk some animals.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's the most I can think of is I'm like, I don't know, are there animals around? I don't know. I'll be honest, I'm like, I don't know why she wouldn't have gone in, really. But right. I don't feel like trying to retcon to figure that out either. So outside for some reason.
Right. I mean,
why it's Felice, but
sure. I mean, you up to you. What you'd like to do? If you just want to keep an eye out for potential dangers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, if anything, maybe is just, like keeping. Somebody's got to watch for dragon actively inside. So
Sure.
if they're all looking for tracks and signs of things, I guess she's getting staring at the clouds. I don't know.
Visibility is pretty low. It's probably not much more than like maybe 20, 30 feet because of the morning fog. Cortanus and Aiden, what do you do? What are you doing?
Cortanus is the one who is going to be looking around for like signs of against the building of what this thing did and what it's capable of.
Okay, sure.
I'm probably more interested in helping Velis.
Okay, so Velis, why don't you make an investigation check with advantage?
Not bad. Investigation, 21.
Okay. So after poking through for a few minutes, going through the remains of what looked to be a couple of collapsed tents, so they're sort of pictured there. They're partially intact. You can see that there were only a handful, perhaps, of the brothers, and they may have been caught completely unaware because you can see like there's very little remaining of. Hold on. Am I cutting out?
No, you're fine.
No,
No,
good.
good.
I was getting sort of a red flashing from the thing. The bodies are. It looks like they probably caught one of the first blasts because they're all like wrapped up in whatever they were like sleeping bags or cots or something that they had been sleeping in this sort of larger tent up here to the top.
So I'll probably be like over here then.
Exactly. There are some packs that are sort of ripped and torn and kind of strewn about. At first glance, it's mostly just basic provisions. But as you're going through and sort of going through the bodies, you can see that each one of them, although they are destroyed,
Oh no.
Did
Yeah.
Brendan freeze?
Oh, no.
Although they're
Yep.
Huh?
Yeah.
And we lost him.
At first I thought he'd paused speaking.
I know, and then it was like,
Nope.
okay,
Yeah, I was like,
very
oh,
awkward.
no.
Like, this is dramatic pause. This is a very dramatic pause. Oh, wait.
Although they're destroyed, you don't know what else.
I'm worried because I got kicked off earlier, so I'm worried that my Wi-Fi is going to be weird again.
I still can't see Bess.
It's fine. You can't see me?
No,
I see you.
I don't.
I just see your icon.
You don't.
I see you.
You can look at my camera if you want to see what my face is.
I have everybody except Brendan because he exploded.
I have everyone except Brendan as well.
There
There we go.
Maybe?
The internet is canceled.
The internet.
The entire internet.
In other words, that tweet or post or whatever that you posted about Critical Role, like stalking that one D&D thing, was like, well, if my luck, I would be sleeping. Or now I have motivation to try and not fall asleep because I know what they could be watching. Keep eyes open at night. I swear I'm awake, guys.
Okay, so Roll20 crashed and I was on mute. So that's 2 out of how many on the bingo card?
Are we just gonna keep track of bingo for tonight?
Session. Challenge accepted.
Okay, was that just
I
me, or
believe
was
that's
that
actually
Roll20?
3 at once because
No,
this
it was
roll
just you.
throws bad internet and you're on mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
I mean,
got-
That also
Technically, we've
considered
also
DM
got
caught off
different
guard.
time zones. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, hold on.
And streaming.
Yep.
And we're all going to die. I think we started with that one.
So I'm give me a moment to sort of like
Somebody live tweet.
get all my windows back open.
Fair.
because like when I play, I've got like the equivalent of like 3 DM screens that I set up for myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And then if you don't do that, then you're screwed because you need something that isn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got D&D Beyond. All right. Back into Roll20. All right. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but just the last week or two, our internet's been really spotty. Kind of frustrating because I pay for extra fast internet and it needs to not be unreliable.
And it is like filming. What am I doing?
Okay. So you find the remains of a number of cultists, all of whom seem to have had different symbionts. The weird flesh creature attachment things, but which normally, if a creature dies, it like detaches and can be used by something else. But in this particular instance, they were caught all by the dragon's breath weapon, seemingly. Going through their packs and their belongings, you find a mostly just basic supplies, but in sort of a hidden pocket in one of them, you do find like a small bracelet made of interlinked chains that are very it's very roughly forged. It's very ugly. In fact, it's in fact looking at it, it's almost it's got to be magical, because as you sort of like handle it and look at it, you get the just slightest sense of unease.
Of profound disgust.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, it's.
Do I get a feel that this is like a holy symbol?
Possibly, yeah.
Do not accidentally attune to anything.
No.
Fuck no!
Yeah, and then in with it is a small folded parchment. Well, probably not. I mean, not like a full piece of paper that's all folded up. It looks like it's actually just a simple, like sort of a mini yellow pad that's just like folded in half.
D&D sticky.
Yeah.
Post-it note.
What? I want to read it!
Okay. As you open it up, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh shit.
Oh, that's fine. That's a 19.
Okay.
No, it's careful not to accidentally attune to object. Mindlessly reads note.
Piece of paper.
I know.
Okay.
Who expects a piece of paper to be
Nobody.
trapped?
That's all it is. Yeah.
That's fair.
I said it was in like a hidden pouch in the pack, like a little piece of paper.
The hidden pouch was
Traps paper!
Really
Paranoid
don't want
cultist.
anyone to
Apparently
read
that's
it.
Absolutely in character. Just looks at Aiden and holds it up. Who the fuck traps paper?
that's a new one, actually. I have not encountered that.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so you make your save, and so you don't suffer the effects. However, you still take half damage. All right. So take 14 points of necrotic damage as
What?
this wave of nauseating energy emanates from
That's a lot!
Well, glad you made your save.
from this thing. As like there's this like flash of energy, and then as you're like sort of like gritting your teeth through it and you look at it, you can see that it's like covered in some kind of scrawl of you're not quite sure what.
Doesn't look like deep speech.
No. It might be reminiscent, maybe, but it's like as you're looking at it, it's almost as if it's difficult for you to focus on. It's like your eyes keep wanting to not look at it when you're looking at the page. And it's difficult for you to focus your attention on it. And it's like you're constantly...
How long are you going to be using?
What about for me?
Probably till you're at bedtime.
Yeah, I was gonna.
So
show it to Aiden.
yeah, no, it's weird. So you show it to Aiden, and it's basically just like plain words to you. But if you focus on it, you recognize that this is it's not written in any known language that would be common here. It's vaguely reminiscent of deep speech, in that it's written in sort of the native language of these outsiders of the Delkir, which is not deep speech. And it's basically just a simple note of instructions that basically says to Florum, more petitioners.
To what?
To Florum.
Is that a name?
I mean,
or...
all right, yeah. So it's basically here. I'll write it in. More petitioners. Hold the mine. Just power there. Okay, it's basically that. But it's like it's almost as if like when you're looking at like a mirage and everything just kind of shifts. It's like what's the thing I'm trying to think of? Oh, it's like one of those weird optical illusion patterns that when you look at it, it's like all weird and like wow wow wow.
Mhm.
That's what the not a hidden picture, but it's like one of those geometric shapes that when you look at it off straight on,
like the circles.
Yeah, like that's what the writing does, and it kind of hurts your brain a little bit.
Does this make any sense to you?
Seems like this is either to somebody at the mine or this group ran off from there. That name, I don't think we are familiar with at all. So,
no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Well,
Go ahead and make a.
What did you just do? You killed something. Possibly did kill something. The table.
What could that be? Yeah, no, I don't think you would have encountered anything where that name would have had any meaning.
yeah.
I'd like to think that paper hurt. I'd like to think that was useful for something.
I'm sure.
Not sure what to think about the fact that a paper hurt.
Being a rogue, you know that spellcasters will often trap books and other things like that with.
That would have been great to know before I opened it.
Well, I mean,
I was gonna say it would have like a glyph of warding or something in it, didn't it?
yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, this spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is how glyph of warding works.
Slightly different because normally glyph of warding is a dex save and it's like an explosion, but that's not really this group's style. So it was a con
I thought
save.
it was
Different.
based on the type of spell you put in, and you can really put anything in it. So,
Oh yeah. Okay. I see.
gross.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Well, something to hold on to for now, I guess.
I guess so.
And I want to actually pick up the little chain on the tip of the dagger because I don't want to touch it.
Okay. Easy enough.
I think there's any purpose to doing something with this. Honestly, I'd like to get rid of it.
I mean,
you'd know that where you could identify it if you needed her to. Because she's done that in front of you.
I want it gone. Honestly, I want it gone.
fair enough. I mean, if you don't think it'll be useful or it's more trouble than you.
I'll put it in one of the bags, one of their bags, and take it just to show the others later. I don't want to touch it directly.
I mean, other than that particular chain, there's nothing about their supplies or their equipment that seems to indicate anything or have any unique elements. It's just, hey, you got a bag of some extra mundane supplies if you need.
Yeah, we're gonna be traveling.
Yeah. You were specifically looking for...
You probably leave them for the merchants since they lost everything.
You were specifically looking for
I wouldn't
stuff, right?
Anything from these people. Yeah.
Okay. Cortanus, as you walk around the tower as well as the encampment area, you can see that. Go ahead and make your own investigation check. And then, Felice, why don't you make a perception check?
Okay.
Because you're keeping an eye out.
Yeah, because I'll
Right.
18.
Perception.
Okay.
Total 20.
Okay. Yeah. So you just sort of pause for a moment and take a breath and focus on your surroundings, and you can hear, in some of the nearby trees and bushes, a few small animals. The quiet conversation inside the tower. From what you can gather, they're speaking to someone, and there's like some threats being made, and it's kind of tense in there. And then in the tent, you hear Velis swearing in Undercommon, and maybe a chuckle from Aiden. You're not quite sure, but other than all that, it does seem pretty still and quiet. Cortanus, from what you gather, examining the remains and the evidence of everything around, this dragon is strong, but not fully grown. Very likely a fully grown adult dragon would have probably collapsed the tower, climbing around on it like Wuria had described. Or not to mention that its breath weapon would not have left survivors. It is far more powerful. So while it is not necessarily an adult dragon, it is definitely still very strong and powerful. And you can see...
this was acid damage on this, or...?
Yeah, acid damage.
All right.
Yeah. And I don't know how much Cortanus might know about dragons or anything, but I would say, gleaning from whatnot, the black dragon's breath specifically is not a cone or an area, but rather a line, because you can see sort of like strips of corroded stone and torn up dirt and stuff from the creature's breath weapons.
I'm making a note of that to tell everyone.
That's really useful.
Yeah, so she's just walking the perimeter and trying to pick up on all this and keep an eye out as best she can.
Okay. So go ahead and make a perception check as you're walking the perimeter. Now, are you like the perimeter on the inside of the stone wall or on the outside?
I figured since this thing kind of came from the outside in, it would be good to keep an eye on that, probably.
Okay.
Unless...
I mean, the wall isn't particularly high, so you can actually see over it with relative ease.
Okay.
I mean, in a couple of places, it might get to like a single brief bit of 5 feet, but for the most part, it's crumbled and destroyed.
Yeah. Like
but just a matter of sort of like
outside
where
room.
you're at. Right.
Yeah, just kind of like
this
around.
Yeah, the stench of death and blood and just the sort of acrid smell of the remains of still
16.
Okay. As you're kind of walking a perimeter, you can hear in some bushes to this maybe 30, 40 feet just to the south of you. It's hard to see because it's like it's right at the edge of the fog. Something wrestling. It's just off the map, but yeah, in a bush just below you.
A bush.
Yeah.
Is it a dragon-sized bush?
Dragon-sized bush.
Yeah, and as you hear,
I
and
think
you kind
most
of
people call that a tree.
Yeah.
A lot of trees.
A really big tree.
and it looks as if you can see a sort of a figure hiding in the foliage, sort of watching.
What?
Well, she has her blades drawn already, so she's gonna slowly walk that way, and if there's something hiding, show thyself.
There's some more rustling, but it's whatever it is sort of still staying hidden.
She'll call back to, I guess Felice is still out there, and say, there may be something hiding, and she's gonna turn and walk back that way to check it.
Okay.
Where's Cortanus directing? So Cortanus went forward, away from the wall?
So Cortanus is out sort of at the... So this encampment and tower area is at the it's actually on a raised area of land that is kind of sticking up out of the marshland, so it's relatively dry and pretty far away from any pools of accumulated water and anything. So it's on a little bit of a hill, and she is on the bottom part of it, down below you, or physically on the map, not like you get what I mean. Right.
I mean, I feel like if Cortanus mentioned that and then kept going that way, she'll kind of little gnome jog over at least to the gate area and see if I can see where Cortanus is going.
Okay. Yeah, you can see Cortanus almost stalking down the hill with both of her blades drawn towards a stand of some vegetation.
For now, I'm just gonna watch, I think, and just
Okay.
She's gonna keep the blades down just in case, but...
Okay. So not
alert,
menacing.
but not menacing.
Okay. All right. Okay, so as you get closer...
Is there rustling in any of the adjacent bushes, or is it just this one that she's headed towards?
Well, there's no rustling now.
Okay.
And other than just sort of vaguely aware of it's kind of like a almost like Elias's ability to sense undead or Velus's new ability to sense aberrations. You just kind of have this Disney princess aura of I know where the small animals are at any given time.
That makes total sense.
That is
Disney princess aura. That is exactly right.
tracks. That is Felice.
Yep.
And and you're sort of tooting in on it. And there's just some small animals here and there. But there's nothing specifically in front of you. And as you Cortanus, as you get closer, you kind of hear from the bush sort of a higher pitched male voice kind of just call out, "Don't kill me!"
I hath no intention if thou art not going to kill us.
I can't kill anybody.
Art thou hiding from the dragon as well?
Hiding from everything. It's scary.
Perhaps if
Bailey
thou
hear
wouldst
this?
come
I don't know
out,
how
we
far
would
it
be
is.
able to speaketh better.
See, like emerging from the bush is a fairly nondescript, plain-looking human man. Seems to be wearing like a leather apron and some, traveling clothes and a heavy cloak. Medium height. Nothing too remarkable or threatening about him. And he's kind of like coming out like very slowly and very nervously, like looking at you because you have 2 swords drawn on him. It's like, you're not here to take everything and finish the job.
The job. Explain.
Johnson's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
The dragon attack. I mean, you weren't here last night, so you're not with us.
Thou art with the merchants.
He sort of like looks down. He's like, I'm a smith. I was traveling with them.
We simply came upon the site. We are here to aid.
Oh, okay. He seems like visibly relieved. Can you bring people back from the dead?
Not I. We have healers among us.
Hold
but
on.
Nothing.
Now I'm like, wait, is Bailey's at a level that she can even...
Okay. Can you bring people back from the dead?
Oh. Yeah, she said. She said not I. We have healers, but I don't know yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if
They're
she
not-
know that Felice has Revivify, but
Well, I don't know that
Felice doesn't.
yeah,
Myria
Felice
and
doesn't.
Elias do.
Or sorry, Wiria.
Yeah.
Sorry, Wiria and Elia.
Yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what is a druid spell and what's a cleric
Yeah,
spell.
sorry, no, I was thinking of Wiria in my brain. I don't have enough
Get
caffeine right now.
But I think that's a couple levels away yet.
It's very
Yeah.
expensive to bring someone back from the dead, though.
He kind of points at the overturned cart kind of behind you and he's like, are you real strong? Can you lift that up? Yeah. 'Cause I don't know how else you're going to help anybody here.
Regenerate.
I could attempt to. Go over to the
You should
cart.
probably get everybody. I mean, there's no use trying it by yourself, but maybe with a couple of people, we can turn it over.
Out of curiosity,
There's
can
only,
I
like-
insight him?
Thank you. Thank
Do
you.
I hear any of this conversation though? Like I don't know.
Oh yeah, no, you're more than aware of all of it.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
see the guy. Yeah,
The moment someone
he's
just comes
kinda
up
got,
and
like-
says, "Get everybody together in one spot," now she's a little bit. She wants to be careful with
It
it.
was more like when you
Thank
said
you.
you will give it a try. I mean, you don't need to roll to pick up on this. He was just skeptical that you would be able to do it by yourself. Is
Yeah.
the thing.
That's fair.
I mean, it's a massive cart that's probably like easily, a half a ton. Just all that wood and the steel reinforcement.
Wait, so when we came in, we saw some people gathered, right? That's why
What did they?
Wiria and Elias went in to help with the.
Yeah, there were a couple of survivors who were gathered together, and then there's a couple of people who are injured who are inside, and most everybody else is dead. But
Why wert thou not with the other injured or the survivors? Why wert thou alone?
I ran away last night. I was scared. I heard voices this morning, so I started coming up, and then I saw you walking around with swords. I thought you finished everybody off.
Oh, one moment. Gotta pick up the thing.
Food delivery!
Okay.
Felice, insight check
Felice.
as well, 'cause,
Sure,
like,
go ahead and make an insight check.
She's still hanging back, just like
You're
observing.
suspicious of this stranger. No, that's makes
he
perfect
just
sense.
kind of weird.
And I'm
Hi,
all,
Kat. You're in the
like-
dice box. Would you like to move? She's literally like doing the dog thing of like just walking in constant circles because she can't find a comfy spot because the dice box is a little smaller than she is.
Oh, dogs.
Oh,
Sorry, what did I
insight. 16.
Yeah, this guy seems pretty much a nervous Nelly, and he probably did run away last night and is scared of the warrior standing in front of him holding two very powerful-looking magic swords.
So he's just kind of paranoid and terrified of everything, not necessarily like has ulterior motive. He's just
Right. You don't think he's trying to
Trust
pull
anyone.
one over on anyone. Yeah.
Sorry, what did he say before? I had to run.
I think it was just I was describing that. I mean, you can make an insight check. But I was saying what you were able to tell without rolling.
Yeah, it's just a 9.
Yeah.
But he had said shit. What did he say? Fuck. He said something. And I was spawning.
He said, yeah, he didn't think that you were able to flip it by yourself. He said that he had run off in the night, and then he heard voices and he came back.
So that was simply just arrived again.
Yes.
There are
Yeah.
others who survived. Only a couple, perhaps, but there are others. You can gesture with one blade back towards the keep. Believe with me, I am not working with the dragon or any sort of bandits. But if thou
He
wishes
sort of
to see
nods
the
his
others in
head.
your party,
He nods his head and he goes to follow you.
head back towards the group.
Sure.
And look to Faylee says she goes by, seemeth we found another survivor.
oh, hello.
Hi there. He kind of looks down.
I don't want to scare him, so I'm trying really hard not to be energetic and just calm. Hi. Hi.
Normal character development.
He doesn't actually say that, but it's just like it's almost uncharacteristically calm for Bailey. So just like, hello.
He does not seem at all to be threatened by your presence.
You are tiny and
I
cute.
mean, you're not wielding any weapons, and you're very small.
Yeah,
Very small.
they go past, and she's just kind of like,
You're very non-threatening.
and she'll follow them, and then
Sure.
I'll look for the other survivors to gesture them over.
Yeah. And as he approaches, oh, did I give names for those people?
Yeah, I was wondering.
No,
I don't think so.
Okay.
we weren't told any names.
Gotcha. Okay. Dang. All right. Hold on. That's why I have a sheet that has it. All right. No, Okay. So, as he approaches, he sort of like sniffs, and you can hear like his stomach rumble a little bit. He probably hasn't eaten since sometime yesterday, and he sort of eagerly approaches, and nods to the two men and the woman who are there, and they see him, and you can see like they recognize him, and they sort of nod at him, and he nods at them, but they're all very quiet, not super talkative, and you can hear them sort of, I'm glad you made it. Like, yeah, I'm sorry I ran. No, it was. They kind of look. The woman kind of looks around. You would have died if you had stayed.
There are no dishonor in
most
running away
everyone
from
did.
something more powerful than thee.
It's about that moment when you can hear, I would say anyone with a high enough passive perception. You still can't see too far, but you can hear the sound of flapping leathery wings.
My passive perception.
Mine's
Yeah.
15.
What's
Is that high enough?
Yeah,
Was
14.
that-
The 10 plus your bonus? Yes. Yes, mine's 7.
I'm inside, so I assume Wiria doesn't, but
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah. Because she has
No,
good
no.
passive perception, but she is inside.
You are occupied with. I don't know how you feel necessarily about Elias draining this guy. I mean, we had a long discussion about it yesterday, but you didn't stop him.
Yeah. I'm occupied with not stopping Elias from
Right.
killing creepy monk dude.
Right. They don't. The survivors don't really seem to have noticed or heard anything, but when you hear this sort of roaring bellow, they notice, and it just comes in, and it's still you're not quite sure where it comes from. Just the thick fog makes it difficult to pinpoint the sound, almost as if it's kind of like coming from everywhere. But a moment later, you can see the tower shudder, and you hear a slam as something incredibly large slams against the side of it, just maybe out on the other side or outside of you, and you hear this very gravelly bestial voice call out, "Human!" And then you can like hear the sound of like claws slamming and digging into stone, and definitely it has got to be that dragon returned.
Yeah.
And you can see that the guy that walked in with you, like he's like, and he kind of just like faints and passes out on the spot.
Yeah, she's saying, find a cover.
And the other three, one of them sort of screams in terror, but one of the women and the man, she's like, she looks around and she like picks up, it must have been like a fireplace poker or something like that, but she sort of like picks it up and is like, her hand is shaking, but she's looking around. And then the guy is like, he's looking around and like all he's got is like the pot lid that has like a little bit of the soup left in it, and he's just like looking at it, and then he looks up at you guys. Yeah.
Just mention them.
I'm just
run.
And at this point, William and Elias.
So I assume
probably
once
running
the
out the
dragon
tower,
lands
yeah.
on the tower, we hear it and is going.
Yeah. In fact, you can see like a chunk of stone fall in, and it actually falls down and crushes the brother.
Oh, okay.
Just like obliterates his whole top torso.
Am I able to
I'm
duck into this
missing
little corner of stone? I think he exploded.
As Wiria runs out, she calls out, "Take cover."
It crashed.
Okay.
Yep.
So you heard the part about the tower
Mona.
pieces falling, and
Yeah.
don't. Okay.
Mona.
Nope, he froze again.
You froze.
He froze in a very interesting.
Yeah.
I blame the dragon.
Ugh.
All right. Give me a second.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You froze in a very dramatic pose. If it makes you feel
That was great.
Honestly, Elias is probably running out. Yeah, just being like, "You have got to be kidding me!"
Found it without captioning it. Why is it done? But then it still won't let me hit send.
Yeah.
I want to roll stealth, and I'm really scared to pick a die for that. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that was really good!
Okay. To a good stealth roll.
I had done this
No,
last
that's a
time
30.
where I switched to our other network, and maybe that will help. I don't know.
Actually, I had to
Brendan,
do
I
that
rolled
too
a 30
recently.
for stealth
The 20.
Alright, so-
to hide in that corner. Is that okay?
Sure. All right. Okay. So, what is everyone's first reaction?
Telling the group to
Hiding
run.
in that
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
Felice is high pitched gnome running, yelling, screaming. Like, I honestly, I'm like, do I yell run? Do I just straight up yell Dragon?
Yeah.
Probably that.
Yeah.
Felice just
Yeah, it's a run to the
springs back
group
towards
and
the
then
group.
calling to the actual group that everyone should stay scattered and not stay in a direct line of this dragon.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to get some cover in this little corner where the walls meet. That's why I ducked up there.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Waria runs out of the tower.
I just realized I rolled a 30
Tries
stealth and
to-
I didn't actually roll with advantage.
encourage
That was
the,
2 19s.
the not party members who have pokers and soup lids
Yeah.
find cover somewhere and hide and like
Yeah.
not
Go,
not
go,
have to
go,
fight a
go.
friggin' dragon.
One of them is he's just like clutched against the side and is frightened, sort of beyond capacity for thought. So you can hear the sounds of this dragon as it's like basically climbing across the tower, and you can see it emerge from the. Come on, here we go. Emerge from the fog, kind of on this side, and as it does, you can see it's looking around. And it's definitely a black dragon. It's probably got like a 20+ foot wingspan and is more than 20 feet nose to tail. 15 feet nose to tail. It's big, but it's not like full grown. It seems.
Felice is like the size of its nose. I think.
Yeah, say where you
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
this is really big.
Yeah, no, you guys are like you guys are like amuse bouches to this thing. But you can see under its chin and like its neck, you can see pushing out through scales is this very strange pale white, almost like a tumor or a growth, and you can see these veins emanating out from it, sort of all up and down its neck and kind of coming up and over its head, and you can almost see like instead of having sort of like these very intelligent piercing eyes, its eyes are almost completely clouded over.
Does it look at all like Karen looked?
Not like that, no.
But it's some sort of corrupt thing.
It's definitely some sort of weird thing. Yeah.
Does it seem to be blind then?
You don't know because you're hiding behind a wall on the other
That's
side.
fair. I can't see it.
Could I like?
But I would say, based on it, the way it's moving its head and sort of in very like it cocks its head and it like takes deep sniffs. You think that it might even be blinded. However, its other senses are particularly are still very, very powerful, and so it's sort of like clawing its way forward, and you can hear it sort of call out again, "Humans, what have you done? What is this?" And it you can hear this note in its voice of anger or almost panic as it like sniffs around, and it's sort of like climbing down the wall a little bit. What does everyone do?
Panic. No.
Cortanus is running up to get like in front of anyone close by it, or get like closest to this thing if it comes at anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Is,
so as you
is it staying above?
But yeah, like
is it?
Yeah, it's probably about maybe 15 feet off the ground. But
Okay.
it's come down a little bit. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
not just me.
Yeah, roll 20s being
cranky.
See, I can't actually see Brendan.
I'm refreshing.
Yeah, I can
only see myself.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see the people,
refreshing
but-
because it was being dumb.
Right, maybe it's not me.
Well, let me try.
There, now I can see
Nope.
you.
Now I'm seeing more people.
I'm getting people back.
Hey!
Yay.
John and Kristen are still just black for me. I didn't try refreshing now, so.
Wait,
Oh wait,
wait.
John's back. So I feel like Kristen will show
Slowly
up
but
again.
surely.
Yeah, I refreshed, that's all.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'll give it time.
The loading message on Roll20 right now says hatching dragons.
Oh gosh, no! Don't say that. Roll 20. Why would you?
Oh, bad roll
All
20.
right. So Cortanis runs up.
There, got John back.
Velis is still staying hidden, but sort of like looking out. What is Aiden and Wuria and Elias? That's a well. Like a well for water and stuff.
I feel like I'm tiny, so I'm like, that's the closest thing, so I feel like it's going to be like doing the kind of like...
Yeah, you could totally take cover behind it. Both of you.
I've got my longbow out, just for the record.
I'm standing ready, but I'm not moving. I'm just kind of observing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where moves over there, mostly partially because there might be some cover there, but also partially so she can actually see the dragon, because from where she was, as short as she wasn't see it. She couldn't see this thing.
Right.
Doesn't have like...
And
but I do.
She opens her mouth to say something and then shuts it, and it's like, I don't what. Like, has that look of, I don't know that I want to try to convince the dragon to go in.
Aiden's kind of like trying to signal everybody to stay quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah. She opens her mouth and then closes it.
Okay. Elias?
I'm going to quiet, like, whisper cast protection from energy on Cortanis as she's like kind of in front of, like, moving past me.
As she like runs directly in front of you and
like,
takes a position between
I
you
have
and
to
the
touch
dragon.
spell, so I can just smack her on the way.
Sure.
Bonk.
On the way past. So, and give her resistance to acid damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
probably
do have that too, so I was like, who do I hit with it?
I would...
Who's most likely to get sprayed? I mean, I'm back here too, but it's like...
Anybody.
I know.
I mean, I feel like Cortanis and Bellas are the most likely to want to get close, but any of us can get sprayed.
I know, yeah.
I mean,
Jonas did say for everyone to keep scattered, though. Don't stay in a straight line from this thing.
Okay. So everyone sort of like ducks, gets behind cover, or otherwise tries to be very, very quiet. Meanwhile, Cortanis is like booking it full speed straight towards the thing. And so as it like it's you
We shouldn't get that part until she was already up there.
Right. As she's sort of like it's blindly looking around. As Cortanis's footsteps get closer to it, it sort of stops and like keys in on you. But it's not looking like directly at you. It's almost like it's trying to find you. And it sort of snarls and growls. But it does sort of move just a little bit closer. Kind of like snaps its jaws. And then sniffs.
Can I shoot an Eldritch Blast off, like, over here at some rubble to try and distract it?
Where is here?
Yep.
Yeah, you could.
Test this theory if it's blind or not.
Yeah, so as you cast the spell and blast the rubble, it sort of like hears that and it turns its head to sort of track it, but you can see it doesn't really be able to see much. And it just sort of moves one bit closer, and then like inhales very, very, very deeply, like through its nostrils. And it's like sniffing the air, and it's like opening and closing its mouth almost like just tasting it.
So like,
picturing like that scene in Jurassic Park with the T-Rex.
Oh god,
just standing there.
Yeah, you get that
twin tails just like lift
weird,
slightly from the breeze.
You get that sound that like the I can't. I'm not a good sound effects person, but definitely like that large reptilian kind of effect. You are not the human. You are not the human who was here before. You smell different. And it takes another deep whiff.
Hans peeks back over to Elias and Aiden for a second, a little confused by that.
I was gonna say, I feel like Felice is gonna turn to Weary and be like,
I'm not human.
"Who is here?"
Not for that. Just if
You may have gathered that it was speaking perhaps about or directly to Cortanus.
As if Felice actually does whisper,
I mean, yeah, because she's just like, "Who's here?"
I'm trying to figure out whether
like,
to say something or not if it already knows that I'm here.
as quietly as Weria can manage, which is probably pretty quiet, she says, "I think the monk."
Did Felice know there was a monk? Because she didn't go in there.
Nope.
No, but
Felice is going to turn and just do the silent like.
Right, because the only people who knew that it was an actual monk was Elias and Weria, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
Weria, go ahead and make just a general intelligence roll with whatever bardic stuff, just because you may be familiar with.
Can I add Jack of all? Intelligence is normally not a skill check for Jack of all trades. So.
Right, but like there is no knowledge skill, so it's just intelligence roll. Oh no, I guess it would be nature. It would be nature.
Nature? Okay.
Yeah.
That is good. That is
it's a skill check.
That's decent. Yeah, that's 14.
Okay. And actually, I would say, Felice, being that you're familiar with beasts and animals and such, you can sort of recognize this. While the dragon may be blind, its senses are such that it can still sense things as long as it's close enough. In other words, dragons have blind sight up to 30 feet.
Yeah, I was like, oh, blind sight. Yay.
But
echolocation type things.
It does have it is blinded, so it can't see anything beyond that.
Yeah.
Is what it appears to be.
So it's functioning like with echolocation, kind of like
almost. It's using its other senses, hearing and sound, or smell and sound, to sort of detect.
Checking how far we are from the.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, Kurnos knows that it's here. Like it knows that she's here, so she is. Just gonna try to stand.
It's almost looking directly at you.
And she's gonna stand her ground and say, "I am not," to its thing. Like, you're not the human before.
It sort of sniffs at you again. Bring me that human.
The human we just killed.
It's like,
I know not of the human that you speaketh.
You can hear it growl. Then you are useless to me.
Weria casts message real quick to Cortanus. It was like, I think it's the monk, and he's dead. There was a monk at the tower.
He's super dead.
Kurnos just like immediately is just suddenly like he is dead, and like just in the general like the moment she gets that message, she actually says it.
Dead? What?
Can I?
just even more looking at where with like, what happened in there?
And you can and it coughs, and you can see as it coughs, kind of direct in your direction, flecks of blood and viscera, and you're not sure what, but maybe chunks of some of its organs come up.
Oh, cute!
This is exactly what happened to that guy, isn't it?
Yep.
She saw that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, those monks.
Can I?
My attention's on this now.
Yeah. No, you can see like as you're like, as it's kind of come a little bit around the corner and you get a better look at it. This thing has definitely been afflicted with some sort of parasite of some kind. You're not sure what, but this is very much like, oh yeah, you guys have seen this before.
Oh, so this dragon could explode into an aberration at any moment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Dragon aberrations are what we all want in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see like the vein. It's like gone almost over its face and head and down its neck and whatnot. And you
So
can
really,
see,
there's
like,
no single point target to try and remove it at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have like this large like tumorous growth on its neck. But it's you can see that the whatever effect this is has progressed significantly.
I was about to say, does it look like this dragon is beyond saving?
You'd probably have to get a little bit closer. In order to...
Yeah, I don't know if Cortana's can check that, but she can only say thou
Yeah.
hast been infected.
And
I know that, human. Where is this?
Elias is gonna try
Dad.
to carefully make my way back into the tower, and can I drag the? Can I get the monk out? The monk's body out, or to see
You
if
you can drag what remains of it.
I got smashed by a rock.
the top
There
out
were,
smashed pretty bad.
yeah.
Yeah, seeing Elias go back there, like, what did the dragon ask or say specifically, or ask? Because you got covered over by other voices for a second there.
Where is this dead human?
Being like peeking back over Elias.
I think hearing
Cured,
that,
most possibly.
Elias will head towards the tower and see if he can at least get most of the monk out there.
Right. The dragon at this point sort of like very cautiously, kind of like keeping in as much as it can its head oriented towards where it's sensing everyone, kind of comes down, and it's now sort of resting on the ground itself. Very much looking like it might pounce at any moment. It's very sort of high tension pose.
Aiden's gonna move
Moving its
Circle
head.
around this
So-
way, but try to get a line of sight on it.
Sure.
It looks like it's going to pounce.
It's just very like, yeah.
It's very tense.
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's close. I was gonna say, Felice is gonna not necessarily hold a spell because that's complicated.
We're not
but,
quite
like,
in initiative order.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, but Felice is just
Yeah.
on it because she has Earthbind prepared today. So like, she's just going to basically be watching it for like, if it starts
takes
to
off.
like take off, she's gonna try and
Sure.
because flying dragon is even more scary.
Cortana's is keeping her blade slowly down for now and just trying to like stare at this thing, keeping full contact on it, and say, "We has seen this in
I'm gonna
action
get
before."
I'm gonna get settled down in
You
this
have
little corner
fought
and
it.
just kind of set up the bow on line of sight just in case.
Okay. You know this magic.
We do not make it, but we have dealt with it in the past. Its
And
effects.
it's like
at least.
snaps its jaws, and then it's kind of like coughs again. And you can see up close that the vein effect is like up and across its back, and it seems to almost like
I'm moving up next to Cortana.
okay.
'Tis a parasite that must be removed.
Snaps its jaws again. And it's almost as if the thing is like it moves to almost like it's going to speak, but then it hesitates. And like shakes its head a little bit, and then kind of coughs again. Where is this human? You've dragged the body out?
What's left of him? Yes. Drag out.
Sure.
Dragged.
Yeah, so you like grab the feet and you're kind of pulling it, and you can like it. You kind of hear this like slurping sound. And like basically the head, and the upper like one arm and the upper torso was crushed, and so it's just everything is severed, and so there's like bits of organ and bone like dragged, like
Juicy.
leaving a little trail behind. As you're dragging it, and sort of you see the arm flop out, you can see that the entire end of the arm is encased in some sort of strange chitinous, almost like a large sleeve that just kind of ends in like a sharp point almost, and then up on the top of it, there's like this cavity that looks like it's got like these bony protrusions or something, and there's basically it's like a spike shooter thing that's empty. And there is no hand or wrist on this thing. It basically is. It looks like it's grafted onto his arm.
And that's part of what he's dragging out.
Yeah, it's the arm.
Process of
Yeah.
Does anything on the dragon
and
look like something like a protrusion sticking out of it that would have been hit by that caused this?
You
or
don't
something?
know.
Really, anything in the thing it had on its
covered.
neck or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I would assume that whatever that was grew into that thing on its neck very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
So do you? How close do you drag this corpse to the dragon?
Katanas might suggest that he pass it off to her. She'll give it one of the blades because she's up front already.
Well, I've got. You don't have to touch this thing. I'll just kind of drag it, like, I guess, kind of in front of Cortanis and leave it and back away. And just
I am keeping my blade to the arm.
Okay. As
I'm dragging.
Yeah, as you drag it closer,
you can help me in death.
it backs up a little bit because now that there's like 3 of you right in its presence, and it kind of waits for you to stop moving. Is this it?
We probably, or at least this was one of the ones that did this to you.
And it's sort of like, kind of like a very untrusting cat, sort of just like slowly reaches out one of its claws and like hooks into it and like drags it closer, and sniffs it and like is like inspecting this human or whatever as much as it can.
Careful there, the arm's not human.
Yeah.
Kind of looks up to regard you and looks down it again and sniffs and you can see it sort of like basically tear the arm off, kind of like regard the rest of the body and toss it over its shoulder, and then it's like inspecting this arm. I do not know this magic. And it looks roughly in your direction, Cortanis. You know this magic.
Only little, but if
we know of it,
whatever is inside thee is left to rot, thou shalt become some sort of aberration and be lost.
I will not become anything.
Well, then we have to remove it.
Remove what?
Whatever he jabbed you with.
It's parasite.
It coughs up again, and then like there's like a chunk of some gelatinous bloody substance that kind of comes up, lands on the ground in front of you. That has definitely got to be part of one of its organs. Maybe. I don't know.
I think this dragon's dead.
Velis, let's see, and Aiden. So Velis, you have some experience with the corruption, sort of the corrupting effects of these creatures, and then Aiden, you kind of have like, granted knowledge that doesn't always make sense until you might encounter a situation, and when it's like, oh, okay, and you kind of get like those two puzzle pieces fitting together. From what you're observing and what you've seen in the past, whatever this infection is, seems to actually be stronger the more powerful a creature it infects, almost as if it feeds off of that creature's strength. So if a human were to be infected, it might take a couple of days for whatever this is to incubate or for something to happen. But the more powerful the creature, the faster the infection seems to take hold, and the stronger of an effect it may be.
Does
So
it seem to have been progressing in just the time we've been talking to it?
almost, yeah.
It's throwing
and so
up stuff, yeah.
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 Do I think it's plausible to remove it and stop it?
Excising it physically could be dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this like growth, and generally speaking, most of these things, the symbionts at least, when forcibly removed, because they feed off of the life of their host. When forcibly removed, it can be damaging both to the host and the symbiont. The parasite version is, even if you remove whatever that growth is, there is still sort of infection, and you would probably need magic to cure that completely. But you may need to do both.
So heal it afterwards?
I'm just gonna look at Elias.
I mean,
can you cure disease?
Not today. Let me double check.
Not today.
Yeah, not today.
Right.
Let me just take a quick look.
Yeah.
I mean, I have lesser restoration, but I don't know if that.
Lesser does disease.
Whatever this thing is,
Blinded,
it
deaf,
must
and
be
paralyzed or
removed.
poisoned. It does say one disease. So. But, again, not today.
Right.
I don't have it prepared.
If not, looking at it, and based on its progression from seemingly just last night,
prepared that.
this dragon might have just hours.
We do technically, in the party inventory, have a vitality which cures disease.
What do we have?
We have a potion of vitality, and I looked it up. It cures disease. We could give the dragon a potion of vitality.
I'm gonna take a breath and then address the dragon. Alright, here's the deal. Obviously, it's in your best interest not to die. And it's in our best interest to, 1, not piss you off, and 2, not let whatever they put in you have its full effect. We can remove it, but you have to trust us that we're gonna do it.
It takes a deep sniff. You're smarter than the others. You're only partially human.
It's not going to be painless, though, I can tell you that.
I can handle pain.
Alright. I'm going to look at whoever's going to be ready to heal this.
Elias, you already used a couple spells. I mean,
I can hit him with a cure wounds, but that's
all Pheles has. I was like,
yeah. I mean, I have healing word, and
I'm gonna break it down for the rest of the party. It's like, I can remove the source of it, but the infection will still be there, as well as whatever damage we do. So
I can heal the damage. I can
the effect and the wound.
Both we have anything for the infection?
I can heal up the wound, but I can't do anything about an infection. I don't have stuff prepared. I was not prepared to heal an infected dragon.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm like, I have healing word and cure wounds. That's it.
I have cure wounds.
We may have
mass healing word.
Something, but yeah. Given that Weary is actually trying to avoid the dragon knowing where she is, she probably casts message to Aiden. Because no one else can hear the message, right?
Right.
And it's like, I think we have a potion of vitality that might work, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never tried to reverse this. Do we want to use it?
Let's see what we can do on our own first, and then if it doesn't seem to be doing anything. Alright.
That's all we can attempt at this point.
Never really studied medicine.
Well, everyone else does all of this.
I don't.
I want to circle around, kind of a long way, all the way around like this, and get up behind, if I can.
Okay, go ahead and make a stealth check. I mean, as with way, it isn't able to sense your presence, but as soon as you get within range.
Honestly, what I'm envisioning here...
24. That hopped out of my dice tray, so I couldn't even see what that was.
What you're envisioning here?
What I'm envisioning here is trying to use my nifty new effect with my Eldritch Blast as like a surgical laser. It's not gonna be like.
What's the effect of the? It's the flesh crafted blast, right?
Here, solution.
Yeah.
I will zap it with lightning, and it'll cauterize the wound.
I'm sure the dragon would love that.
Perhaps someone can heat up her blades and it's cauterized.
I do have heat metal, but then that would burn Cortanus.
I have a question.
Oh, the swords.
Yes.
So I just looked up, and it's as far as so Felice doesn't have training in medicine, but she does have proficiency with herbalism kits. Which said I just looked up the actual description of it again.
Right.
And so it lets you add. So if you're proficient with the kit, it lets you add your bonus to any checks made to identify or apply herbs. And also proficiency with this kit is required to create antitoxin or any potion of healing. It doesn't say that you need medicine training for that.
Right.
Would I be able to make some kind of roll? Does Felice know of anything that she might be able to find that might help?
You would be able to use kit to craft the poultice or an herb or something like that, but specifically antitoxin and healing potions don't do anything against disease.
I didn't really think so, but as far as do I happen to know, and even if I do know of it, it's not guaranteed that it's around here,
right.
But is there an herb or something that might at least help to keep it from spreading until we're able to fix this better?
I don't think you would have that knowledge. I mean, you could make a nature check. That would be more than anything.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything at all, and honestly, there may not even be anything I can't do. But that's a natural 19. So let me find my bonus here.
It's 20 something.
20 left.
Okay, so with a physical parasite, usually removing, if it's an attachment parasite, removing it in whatever way is. I mean, sometimes if you try and pull on it, it actually injures the person or something more often, or sometimes it'll die if you pull it off or damage it, like leeches or mites or ticks or whatever those things are.
Puppet fish people.
Puppet fish people. But generally speaking, removing the parasite itself is the first step. And if you can do that without killing the host, then they may be able to recover naturally because the parasite isn't introducing more things into the system. So physically removing may give you more time, but you're not quite sure how much because you're not super familiar with dragon physiology or aberrant parasite physiology.
Yeah.
Those are kind of alien subjects.
Yep.
But drawing on your knowledge of animals, how nature typically works, that's kind of what you're gathering.
So our best bet is just to remove this thing somehow and then go from there.
Slowly hold up our blades, potentially as scissory type effect or something like that. And go after this thing.
How large of an area does the
Oh, it's probably large beach ball sized growth on the thing's neck.
All right, I'm not sure if I want to use the black sword.
I can't do it.
Very likely, cutting into the parasite will probably inflict some amount of pain and damage on the dragon.
Oh yeah,
Well,
I
it
knew
knew that.
that.
It said it was fine with
I,
that.
it's just more of an idea of like what tool do I want to use, and like, do I want this a sword or do I want like a smaller blade?
Right.
Just trying to make a decision. That's all.
Also, I'm gonna have to touch the dragon if we want, me to actually heal like the wound that's left behind when you caught her. Like, or if someone else wants a healing word, because I don't want to use my 4th level spell.
Yeah. No, if you I have
spell
healing
right
word and healing light.
Okay.
So I have a couple
I
different
just have cure
non-touch healing options.
I got cure wounds, but my only non-touch healing options right now are mass healing word and life transference, and I've used all my 3rd level healing, my 3rd level slots, so I would have to use the 4th level slot.
Another question that I'm pretty sure I know the answer to.
Okay.
As far as targeting things, like if one were to target a creature with a spell, targeting the parasite would also target the dragon, right?
Depends on the kind of spell.
Like, I happen to bring Blight along. Would I be able to Blight just the parasite?
You're not sure, because it's technically its own organism, but the nature of parasites is that they often blend. So very likely, part of the damage will be dealt to the dragon. So it'll probably, I would say, it would probably like share the damage half and half.
All right.
Are these things resistant to kind of damage since what they do?
Note in the back of her mind of like, if they can manage to at least pry it off more to make it visible, she might. Yeah.
I'm gonna look around to the others. I'm decidedly ignoring Bellis because I can see him trying to be sneaky. And does anybody have a smaller blade I can use?
Felice has a dagger.
So yeah, I'm sure one of us.
Yeah, Cortanus's blades are like not full length because they're cut down, but
right.
I have a dagger.
That one.
Was this thing bigger than a this is bigger than a dagger, wouldn't it be?
Oh yeah, this thing is like it's beach ball sized.
But he's like trying to scalpel it out, I think.
Yeah. Felice has a dagger.
I don't know. I'll have it on hand.
Yeah. Felice can toss him a dagger or something. She has one.
Hearing Aiden ask that, I can just kind of hop up. Since the dragon can't see me either way, and just hold up a short sword. I have that.
I'll hold up a hand. I'm good. Alright. I'm going to get closer.
This sounds like a great way to do it.
Cortanus is going to look to Elias and silently ask him whether she should go along with him just in case, because she can protect him a little bit better.
If I mini retcon, if I hand you the dagger, I can cast protection from energy on you as well, and also give you acid resistance.
Ooh,
that's up to you.
That sounds smart.
I feel like if you're really going and like climbing on this thing, I feel like
I'm not climbing on it.
Well, it's on his back, isn't it?
No, it's on his
neck. Head's down.
Either way,
like a goiter.
It's close to his face. So yeah, I feel like Felice would have been like tiptoe and given him the blade, and then also done protection from energy. So you will also have acid resistance if it decides to cough on you.
All right, I'm just gonna move slowly closer, and I'm going to, as I
that's a constant.
Yeah, right. I know.
Move up to it. I'm going to ask it softly in Draconic, where exactly were you hit?
I'm gonna real quick if Wiria, can I kind of look to Wiria and be like, are you gonna heal? Are you gonna handle healing?
Yeah.
The dragon? Okay. Then can I hold guiding bolt in case this goes sideways?
You can, yeah. Sure.
Just kind of just be ready. Yeah, just hang back a little and just be ready with guiding
can
bolt.
I go ahead and preempt? I want to go ahead and get the dagger of venom ready as well, just in case.
Actually, I feel like after doing that, I'm like, Felice is going to come back behind the well again a little bit.
as you speak to it in Draconic, it sort of pauses and tilts its head slightly at you, and it responds in kind in Draconic. I had not expected one of the lesser language. And it pauses for a moment, and then like cranes its neck over its shoulder, and then directly faces you, Velis. Step away.
Step back.
Aiden will just nod until.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Those nopes out there.
You were sneaky.
Disadvantage?
You were sneaky.
Disadvantage?
But
I was really sneaky.
Dragons are
you were really sneaky.
Yeah,
Especially
dragons
ones
are
with
very
blind sight.
perceptive. Yeah.
Yeah. And it sort of angles its neck a little bit, and you can see sort of underneath its frill. That must have been where that spike was.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see like that's actually kind of like where it looks like the growth may have begun as it sort of wraps around its neck. It looks pretty nasty. Yeah. You can see it like digging its claws into the ground a little bit. It's doing the equivalent of the biting down on a stick.
Okay. I'm gonna draw my normal longsword.
Okay.
I don't introduce any
Unknown factors.
unknown factors. Yeah.
Yeah.
and just basically just quietly to myself, just like, well, here we go.
So as you begin to saw at it a little bit, it's incredibly tough, and you're kind of having a hard time really getting through the chitinous shell of it. And you can hear sort of an intake of breath and a hiss, and a low growl sort of deep in the dragon's throat as whatever is happening seems to probably be inflicting some amount of pain on it. But you're like really, you're not making a lot of headway with this, rando longsword. You may need something a little bit more powerful.
Eden, allow me. Please.
I'm sticking it in the ground and I'm just going for it.
Oh, he's just ignoring Katanas.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm focused.
So the moment the blade touches the thing, you can hear you hear the dragon cry out, and it like basically like hot knife through butter. But it was seemingly unexpected, and the dragon like sort of instinctively kind of like rears back, like its wings fly open. Make a dex save as like this you're bowled over. Okay. Yeah, so you're not completely pushed back and thrown on your ass, and you manage to sort of like duck out of the way.
I just stuck in the ground.
The dragon sort of growls again and cranes its neck around to kind of like regard you. And what kind of blade is that? It burns.
One made specifically for dealing with these things.
And it growls, and you can like kind of like puffing out at you, and it smells like there's like you get that note of rotten and horrible earthy strangeness that you've encountered before in these creatures, with like a weird acrid hint that kind of like burns your nose hairs a little bit. That's got to be like the dragon's natural breath.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sort of like grits through its teeth. Proceed. And it like settles down a little bit again, and it sort of, you can hear the teeth.
I mean, can I tell if I'm like getting this parasite at all, or
You're cutting through this tumor,
okay,
and like cutting into it in a way, little bits of ichor and weird stuff that's beginning to drip down the side of the dragon's neck, kind of pour out of it. You're not necessarily sure if you've got the parasite, but you're cutting away the tumor.
Okay.
At least.
I'm going to continue.
Okay, just make a dexterity check.
Yeah.
As you are trying to carefully carve away this thing.
20 total.
I'm really
Okay.
kicking myself not to have guidance as a cantrip.
So you carve away most of this tumor, and you actually have to, like, where it's attached to the dragon, it is completely melted and sloughed off the scales. And so you can just see the raw flesh, the sort of unarmored flesh on the dragon's neck. And it's like an angry, infected color, with these white veins piercing through it. And you can see what looks to be like almost like a bony protrusion sticking out. Like, this must be the spike that had hit it. But there's only there's only a little bit sticking out of the dragon's flesh.
Well, I'm going to start working around that.
Okay. Go ahead and as you dig into that, the dragon had been holding still while you finished the rest of the. But as you start to carve into that, it sort of naturally reacts and bucks a little bit. Go ahead and make another dexterity check to see if you can avoid getting.
Is just a check? Well, it's the same bonus either way.
Yeah.
13.
Okay. This time, so I don't know if you've ever worked around large animals. But even with horses, like, they can very, very he basically knocks you to the ground, and it's not a whole lot. But you, well, actually, no. He kind of, in his thrashing, knocks you to the ground, and then ends up actually, like, stepping on you a little bit. But you take. You take 10 points of piercing damage as like his claw just like rakes across your chest a little bit.
That's all right.
And he roars out. He doesn't take any offensive action. It's just more.
He's more ow, ow.
Yeah. And situations like this with people, there's usually like someone nearby that's like holding arms and legs to keep this sort of thing.
Can't really do that with a dragon.
Nice thing, really, for dragon.
Yeah.
Getting to the heart of it.
And it growls a little bit, and it just sort of nods its head. You can hear it, like, with every breath, it's sort of laboring and kind of like growling, almost as if it's like expressing, like through growling and grunting, holding its composure. And it sort of like settles down again and lets it continue. Go ahead and make one. What?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, go ahead and make another final dexterity check to sort of excise this thing out.
That's high. 22.
Okay. You have to, like, I mean, it's like very, very deep.
Yeah, like, get it in there and just like.
Yeah. And you pull the spike out, and the thing's probably got to be like 18 inches, 2 feet long. And as you sort of like slowly pull it out, there's like resistance, and then like a pop. And you can see like these tendrils and stuff kind of coming off of it. There's sort of like this gasp of relief almost as there's a certain.
As soon as I get the whole thing out, I just blast it.
Okay. The thing or the dragon?
The spike.
Sure. All right. So you as you do
Yes, I
that,
brought the dragon.
you pull the thing out and you like toss it and blast it. And the dragon sort of like it sort of looks and sees sort of what happened. Doesn't see what happened, and it's just sort of like listening in. And it kind of like opens and closes its jaws a little bit. And it coughs like really, really badly. And you can see.
Can I inspect the wound at all to make sure I got everything?
Yeah. So as you're looking at it, you can see sort of like these. When you pulled it out, there had been like some like filaments or something that had been connecting it.
Mm-hmm.
But the spike may have just been like a delivery mechanism for the organism itself. So you've removed that and removed some of the connective tissue between that spike and the dragon. And so whatever parasite is inside the dragon isn't necessarily drawing spike
Cut out there.
Sorry. So it looks like the spike was a delivery method for an organism that may have burrowed deeper into the dragon. But having removed it and excised this tumor, you believe that you may have been able to slow the progress so that it wasn't quite so rapid.
Okay.
So instead of a matter of hours, it might be a matter of days. Maybe.
Okay.
Can the infection be stopped now?
Well, this wasn't completely the source of it. We bought some time.
How much time?
A lot more than you had. Can I see at all, like, what... At this point, I'm trying to think of, like, how we can get to the organism.
Yeah. You can...
like, from the wound, can I, like, learn anything that would inform my decision-making from this point?
I would say you can make either an intelligence check or a medicine check if you did medicine. Or I don't think it would be I don't know. Let me look at the description for the medicine skill. Let's see. That doesn't say a whole lot. Maybe nature, perhaps? Huh.
It's better than medicine.
Difficult to say. Difficult to say.
9.
9?
9.
Yeah. So, you're not quite sure how much of the parasite you may have gotten by removing it. You could still magically, I mean, generally speaking, curing a disease, like a cure disease spell to clear the infection, will generally also like kill the parasite. Usually.
I'm just gonna look towards Wiria.
So, Wiria looks back, and I don't know why Wiria is carrying the party inventory, but apparently Wiria is carrying the
it comes with the party mom persona.
He's the one who brought it up.
I mean,
yeah, well, I just because yeah.
Wait, are you? because the party mom also has like the purse, and of course everything's in the purse, so you can just pull it out of the
Yeah.
bag
She
of
pulls
holding.
out the potion and gives Aiden a look of, do we want to try this?
Unless anybody else has some method of.
Okay, well if no one else speaks up, she comes forward with it.
I don't have.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has.
Probably
come back tomorrow
hand it to
may not
Elias,
have
to hand it to Cortanus, to hand it to Aiden, because
Okay.
he doesn't really want to get right up.
That is fair.
And Aiden is already
Yeah.
right up to this dragon. I mean, the dragon
Potion telephone.
crush
The
her
conveyor
on
belt.
a heartbit, so
Right.
Yeah.
she's a
What?
little cautious.
What specifically does the potion do?
It is a potion of vitality.
It removes any exhaustion and cures any disease, and then for the next 24 hours you regain the maximum hit points for any hit die you spend.
Okay.
And we've had it for I don't know how long. We've just never used it.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't even realize we had it.
I'm
I
going-
looked in the party inventory.
Once I get it, I'm going to, swish it a little bit so the dragon hears it.
Right?
Like, this potion should help cure the effects and expedite the healing process.
It sort of sits back on its haunches a little bit, and then extends like one of its arms and sort of like its claws towards you,
Mm-hmm.
and just sort of like holds out its claw.
I will place it in whatever way.
Right.
Not drop it.
Yeah, so-
I'll unstopper it for it,
So like you place it in and as you put you begin to put the potion in its claw, it sort of like closes its hand quickly, and you kind of like have to snatch your hand away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear like the slightest rumble in the back of its throat. And then it just sort of like, before it does anything, it kind of pauses and it sweeps the area, kind of remarking where everyone is. And then basically just like tosses the whole thing down and like crunches down on it.
No, yum.
It's acidic. It'll dissolve that.
Yeah.
And it just sort of like sits there for a moment, and shakes its head. It's kind of regarding all of you. Coughs a little bit, and you can hear like a lot of like phlegm and other stuff, and you can see flecks of blood, kind of like, this time on Aiden.
I'll take a step back at this point.
Yeah. But you do see sort of a very light fading, sort of like it still looks where you can see the flesh is pale and kind of like sweaty and pussy and whatnot, but you can see very, very slowly the effects of this potion sort of take hold and fight against the infection of whatever is infecting this creature. And sort of the clouds sort of slowly fade from its eyes, and it kind of blinks and looks around at all of you. And very slowly, a lot of the white veiny veins of infection across its body kind of dissipate a little bit, but you can see that there's still like the scarring of wherever this thing was, that its scales may not grow back because of the tissue, but it seems to have cleared away any visible signs of the parasite and infection. And it sort of like stretches its wings out a little bit, kind of shakes its head and like guards all of you.
Nas keeps her blades down, but kind of staring at it very cautiously.
Yeah, I
How do you feel?
still ready to go with a guiding bolt if I don't trust
Right.
Still
It's sort of-
holding dagger.
Yeah,
Just not
it's
threatening.
looking over at all of you. You're sort of seeing it like weighing its options. And then it like reaches down to the passed out human next to it and like just like reaches out over to it. Slowly wraps its claws around it. Hungry. And you can see it like basically like crouch. Looks like it's about to leap up into the air. And it pauses a little bit.
That's not really polite.
Leave him.
We did you a favor. Please do us one.
I would not have a favor by not feasting on your flesh.
You would not.
Marrow from your bone.
You would not have lived
Anybody else
past this
here,
day.
too.
Did we? I mean, we passed animals in the swamp not too far back, right?
Yeah, I mean it's like
It's a swamp.
It is
Yeah.
utterly silent of all small, harmless forest creatures right now.
They're not right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have gone into hiding or are cowering and silent. But there are definitely lots of small animals around, or throughout the thing.
Felice almost like hates to like offer up animals in exchange because that's still not fun. But like,
If he takes off with that guiding bolting.
Just remember you were hacking up your organs 5 minutes ago.
Not say anything, but is absolutely ready to go.
did he grab a live person or a dead one?
No.
The
No.
guy
Alive
painted
one.
that Cortanas found in the woods.
Oh, that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
These are
Well,
under
actually,
care.
so the guy that fainted had like fainted as soon as he walked in that gate down below.
Okay, so he's elsewhere.
Right.
Oh.
He grabbed the guy who had like cowered against the wall and didn't go, or like you told the other two to run and they ran. He had also
that didn't
fainted from fear. Yeah.
Oh.
And he was like laying kind of crumpled up against the thing. He's sort of like looking at all of you. He's thinking. It's thinking.
It's thinking.
Sort of regarding all of you, you can see most of you are ready to pounce at any moment.
I am not in a forgiving mood.
We didn't have to save you. You know that. We could have taken advantage of your weakened state.
Are you persuading or intimidating?
I'm persuading. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll persuasion, so I don't have to actually.
Like I
My,
want to like Felice is like just debating if the puppy dog eyes will work if she just.
You're way too far away for this.
Thank you.
Okay. 12. I can switch to intimidation.
I mean,
We have made this intimidating.
if the dragon doesn't seem to be positively responding to Aiden, Wiriel will say, "We'd prefer not to fight you, but we will. It's up to you."
Its fingers and claw slowly unclasp, and the body kind of like rolls back over into the dust. I owe no debt. And it sort of like backs away. without sort of like taking its eyes off any of you. It's large enough to just step right over the wall. But it backs off. And once it's partially obscured by the edge of the tower, you can hear it leap into the air and the beat of its wings flap. And the sound of the flapping wings get quieter and quieter as it leaves.
Well, that's not how I expected.
As soon as you can't hear it anymore, it flops onto the ground.
Where are your heads for the guy who's unconscious to look at him and make sure he's okay?
Yeah.
It looks like the dragon made a bit of blood, but he is breathing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he's like in danger of dying, basically.
No.
Okay.
Is it wrong that I hope those were important and I just gesture at the organ bits?
No.
That is what we potentially call a future endeavor.
Don't think...
Well, that was a good reminder. We were dealing with a chromatic dragon, man.
Yeah.
But not an
Let's
aberration.
not do that
one.
again.
Yes, aberration chromatic dragon sounds worse, to be perfectly honest.
Absolutely.
But am I the only one thinking this means they came out here looking for something to turn?
Oh, you weren't here for that.
Oh yeah. Only Elias and I heard spoke to that monk. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Taz looks at the two of them confusion.
Is there something that you'd like to share?
We didn't have a chance.
We didn't. Dragons. And
How did that guy was in there?
Yeah.
Well,
Brother went and now he looks like a mummy?
By the way, I'm not moving anymore.
we went in.
I don't think my legs would cooperate if I did.
I think Elias is just fallen back onto his butt and is just sitting in the dirt.
We went into the tower to see if we could help the injured, and well, we did. But one of the injured was this monk brother. Don't like.
Yeah, Cortana's kind of like cringes slightly at the half of a person.
Yeah. He wasn't half a person in there.
Well, I mean, I kind of gathered that from the upgrade to his arm.
Yes, well, we questioned him before he became half of a person.
So how exactly did he become half of a person then?
Well, the dragon landed on the tower.
Rocks, they fall.
Rocks fall. Monk dies.
Rocks fall.
Almost poetic.
Yeah.
Well, no great loss, but yeah.
I just feel like I'm like.
Anyway, back to what they were doing here.
They're just kind of corrupting everything.
Yeah, they're
just
both
kind of corrupting everything.
to be to corrupt everything.
Yeah.
He was aware of the monks in Tusaw.
Rock fell on.
And
crushed his upper half, and
he called the arm a gift.
Grabbed the half that wasn't crushed and wrestled away.
Yeah. He looked super nervous when he mentioned the one guy had his gift taken back.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess he doesn't have to worry about.
Yeah.
It seems like
the ideas
at
of the
least
cultists
based
of the Chained
on
Oblivion.
Based on this.
Cortana's saying that Velis pulls out the bag, pulls out the dagger, and pulls out the chain on the dagger. By the way!
Should I try to identify that?
I really just sort of want to get rid of it, but if you'd like and hold out the dagger.
It seems like if we want to get rid of it, knowing what it is so we don't get rid of it in the wrong way is probably valuable.
That's fair. I'm just holding it out, hanging off the tip of the dagger.
Maria takes the rapier and takes it. It's like,
no one wants to touch it.
She looks at it and she says, "Okay, Elias, I we gave them the basics, but if there's anything else to tell them about what we learned, I'm gonna have to touch this thing, which is gonna be fun. But I will see about identifying, and she does in fact sit down with.
Just be careful with it.
I will.
There was also a letter that had a magic trap on it.
Oh, fun!
No.
She
funny.
starts ritual casting identify, so that'll
Fuck
take
you!
10 minutes. Okay.
It just proves you're not as smooth as you think you are.
Which is why she told Elias to tell them anything else, because she's too busy.
Elias is going to just walk
casting.
over and kind of kick Aiden on the way past. Not very hard. And just sit.
I don't
I mean,
know.
what rogue doesn't
Yeah,
check
yeah.
for traps before opening a weird treasure thing?
Not
That's how you get your
traps.
killed.
Not as the answer.
Do you want traps? Because that's how you get traps.
Exactly.
That's how you get your ranger dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh!
To be fair,
That
that
works
wasn't a
on multiple
rogue not
levels.
checking for
Yeah, that's true.
traps.
That wasn't their own.
I did just
Oh!
listen to that episode like a week ago, though.
You went there!
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
Velis is the ranger and the rogue,
that's
as
true.
was Vex.
Yeah,
That's true.
Okay.
But that was the fighter's fault.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that for every single
All right. Wuria is beginning a ritual, is sort of like put the bracelet thing down on the ground and is casting a ritual. There's no sign of the other people. The guy who had collapsed is still just kind of like laying on the ground, breathing shallowly. The other two, plus the stranger that had come in recently, are all gone. They must have fled as well. What is everyone doing as Wuria casts a spell for 10 minutes?
Well, Elias was gonna.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, he wasn't.
I need to send you a
super
message, Brendan.
cooperative.
Sure.
It's actually super
We have that
relevant, right?
technology.
Yeah, we can do that. All right, I'm gonna
You can email
can't
me.
see
You
several
can
people.
DM me.
I'm gonna try
Aiden
refreshing.
is
real
still,
quick.
you know,
Yeah. Roll20 has been a little weird.
recovering
really is.
his nerves a bit from
Yeah, I'm trying to think
performing
if there was.
surgery on a dragon.
That
Yeah.
was quite the feat, Aiden.
Yeah, good job, by the way.
Yeah, can't believe I did it.
Yeah, we're not dead.
I mean,
Neither can
it's not
we.
like I'm not used to having my life on the line or anything, but that's a different level of thrill seeking.
What, you don't actively seek out chromatic dragons for dangerous surgery on?
Not that specific scenario, no.
That's a really specific scenario.
Looks cool on resume though.
That's true. You can put that on the
Donna's
resume.
like looking around. Resume?
Aiden just kind of like thinks for a second and then smiles to himself.
There we go. Now I can see everyone. I'm trying to think if there was any. I did not write down much of what that monk said. He wasn't super cooperative, and he didn't have much of a tongue left when I talked to him.
What did he say? He said he's a jerk face and he should die. So that's what we did.
Oh, actually,
I'm trying
you
to
know what? He wrote it all down.
That's right, he did.
You wrote what down?
Oh, his side of the conversation.
He didn't have a tongue. Yeah, he didn't have a tongue. We made him write.
Oh, yeah.
He had to write it down.
Yeah, so
I think Elias will probably be like, "Wait!" and jump up and run back into the tower to grab the paper.
right.
I assume you just kept it on you.
I mean, as soon as
I
we
don't
killed
know.
him, the dragon showed
Yeah.
up. So
Right.
That
I would
was
say that you've got probably most of it, although a significant amount of it is like drenched in the part of his remains, and some of the pages
Plastic
might be a
stone.
little torn.
I thought
But
you guys
for the
were going to
most
keep
part,
it in
you
case
have-
anyone got suspicious, and you're like, see, chained oblivion.
Yeah,
I think that was our plan, but then dragon.
but then dragon.
Mm.
Yeah.
On that note, I have an unpleasant thought.
Thou
Don't
seemest
you
to have
always-
plenty of
I mean,
those.
to
Yes.
be
Thoughts.
fair, you're not really
Have
an
you ever had a
optimistic person,
thought?
so
Well, given what we've been diving into lately, can you blame me? I just wonder if these monks and that rock Elias is carrying around are connected in some way.
I mean, I didn't get any kind of feeling from the rock.
That
We
rock
came upon
was
it
being
far
used in a ritual involving aberrations. Someone who followed the black spider was making aberrations. We watched that.
Oh, that's right. There were aberrations.
Yes, there were.
Good point.
They did the same. He did the same thing to the town master that we watched happen to that monk.
Yeah, and then we
With the
killed him
same
for
thing?
Yeah.
Well,
The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Well,
turned
well,
Became the
it-
same
he turned-
creature.
He
same
turned
kind
inside
of
out.
thing. Actually, I think I checked that out when we went back to the mansion and try and dispel stuff. It was the same kind of thing that they were gonna do to Denstone.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that answers that.
Mhm.
No coincidences anymore.
Yeah.
It's been
Well,
one train of things after another. How's it going, Luria?
Probably
I
still a
didn't break
couple
your
minutes.
concentration or anything, did I?
Like, hey, where are you tap? Hey, where are you tap?
No, I'm still lying on the ground on the cross.
Sure.
We can only move forward towards our goal
Yeah.
and see what cometh of it.
good thing we
I'm just saying
Got
we
that.
probably want to
Going away
be
from
careful.
I mean, I did have that artificer. If she tried poking around that anymore, to let
Yeah, we
me
had a
know.
couple people look at it.
The
Yeah,
rock?
The-
The stone? The soul stone?
Stone, we had
Yeah.
who was it? Witch Hazel
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hazel.
took a look at it.
Mm,
Hazel, someone took a look at it.
Yeah.
Molly.
It was also
Also the
names.
the
The priest whose name I
priest.
would have to look up.
I think it's in my other book.
Elephane. I know that.
Elephant, yes.
Thank you.
That's what you get for
Have
creating
that.
a spreadsheet of all of your NPCs.
Yay!
Yeah.
Most of them. I still have to go back through previous episodes. I may have
I had to
missed
put
some.
some up in the Obsidian portal.
Yeah, I gotta put them all. Yeah, no, I gotta catch up on that. Okay, so unless there's other intra-party conversation that anyone would like to have,
Not at
Now-
this time.
right? Well, we can. So the bracelet is basically just it's a holy symbol of the chained oblivion, and it exudes an aura of transmutation. And it's basically if it's worn by any creature that's not a follower or a believer of the chained oblivion, then it basically it will basically it will reduce their maximum hit points day by day by day until they die, and then they turn into some monstrous creature.
Oh.
And they cannot remove it without a remove curse spell.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Right.
Wiria explains this and says
Yeah.
we should get rid of this, but we should make sure we get rid of it somewhere where somebody's not just going to pick it up.
Also,
Does the dragon happen to hack up any acid we could try throwing it into?
nothing powerful enough.
Has to be
However,
dispelled.
Can we just try to smash it?
But I try and dispel it.
maybe. I'd have to look up the
Dispel it,
dispel.
then smash it?
But also, when you cast a spell that's part of the transmutation school, basically you can, if it's of the type that lets you increase the power by using spell levels, you get to do it for, you get like a level free to do it. Like it empowers every transmutation spell that you cast. But
Still not worth it.
If you're not if you're not a true believer, it will kill you.
I mean, I don't have any transmutation spells.
Also,
I would hope that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Also dying.
I mean, technically, how would I count under the Chained Oblivion stuff?
That's true.
Okay.
are you a true believer in the Chained Oblivion?
Well, it says follower or believer.
I mean, to be
Very
fair,
passionate again.
we believe that it exists.
We do not doubt the existence of the Chained Oblivion.
Right. You're based on your analysis, your magic analysis of the object. You're pretty sure that it would be harmful to every single one of you.
Yeah, we are not a chained obliviathist.
Nope.
Yeah. So if you cast Dispel Magic, because this is because the effect is more powerful, you'd have to make a spell casting check. But if you were successful, you could dispel the magic on the object.
I think it's worth it as a shot.
No, it's worth a try.
Yeah.
Right.
Alright. Toss it on the ground.
Sure.
And I will get back up and get the blade out.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Put the tip of the blade to it.
Okay. When you touch the tip of the blade to it, you can only you hear this. Nobody seems to be reacting, but you hear the sound of like glass scraping on glass.
Ah!
That's a good sound.
Only you can hear it.
Yeah.
Only, but
Yeah.
you're the only one who can hear it.
Alright, I'm gonna go for the dispelled.
Sure.
Possible on that. Spellcasting roll. That's an 8. That's not gonna do it.
Yeah. So, you cast the spell and it doesn't seem to have an effect.
Ah. Yeah, I don't think that's.
You rolled a total of 8.
Total of 8, yes.
Yeah. No. It's to dispel something is 10 plus the spell that was used to create.
I'm casting it at 4th level technically.
Yeah, it's still automatically ends the spell if the spell's level is equal to or less than the spell slot you used. Yeah, it's not automatic. You still.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about that.
Generally
Destroyed
speaking,
otherwise.
it would. Yeah.
Yeah, we can try and just destroy it.
I mean, I could try just straight up destroying it with the sword, but do I feel like they would resist that? Just from the reaction,
You don't know if it will resist it, but you know that very likely the whatever experience may ensue will likely be unpleasant for you.
Yeah, let's not.
In the same vein that touching it was unpleasant.
Do we want
It's
to just bury it?
It's like the sound of two realities.
No.
Contact.
Not here. I mean, if we're gonna just
It needs
somewhere
to go. It needs to be broken.
Specifically your blade or any magic blade that would touch it?
Yeah, we think. I mean,
You're pretty sure that it's specifically your blade.
do you want me to try and? I'm
Yeah.
sure I still have my hammer, my old hammer.
Katana's literally has vestiges that she can whack it with.
That may work. The links are
Or
made
my
from,
mace. I can just hit it with my mace.
are basically the equivalent. I guess you could call them star metal. They're made from like either an extra planar metal, something that is not like iron or steel or anything like that.
I don't think anything we have here is gonna be tough enough to just break it. If we're gonna ditch it, we're gonna ditch it somewhere nobody is gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say toss it out into the swamp, but I don't know what'll happen if like a crocodile swallows.
Do we want to put it in the really creepy bag of holding we found, and
Deal with it later.
I had almost forgotten.
You still have that?
This is
Yeah,
not
we
the
haven't
sort of
got rid
thing
of
we
it.
want to carry around, but we're making a habit of collecting things we shouldn't carry, so why not?
I mean, just for now, until we find a place to actually get rid of it.
No, I agree.
I mean, do we want to at least try breaking it with a not
I doubt it.
Aiden's weapon? But
You can
You want
try.
to try? I doubt it, and I probably wouldn't
Just,
recommend it.
Bless you.
Okay, I'm good.
try and that way we know we can, for certain, that we can cross that off the list of options.
If you can, Katanas will try to aid him.
Aid hammer smashing.
Aid hammer smashing.
A mace hammer smashing.
You're gonna hit it with your mace?
I mean, I do still have a warhammer in my inventory that I never took out, but
I just figured magical item on magical item is probably the best.
You can give it a try.
yeah, I'll give it a try.
You can
You
certainly
can certainly
try.
try.
certainly try.
Alright. So I'm gonna say you don't really need to make an attack roll considering it's an inanimate object on the ground
Yeah.
and it's not putting up a fight. So what I would say is just make a strength check.
Okay.
Strength athletics.
Okay, that's
Because you're
Straight
basically just trying to smash the thing.
natural 20.
Yes!
Okay. Yeah, so you bring you're just with the warhammer or your mace?
My mace. I'll go
Okay.
with my mace.
Right.
Holy weapon.
That little bit of radiant damp,
Yeah, no, actually. So as you bring it down,
I'll go
you can all hear the just sort of a loud crack, and then there's like this flare of radiant energy from the head of Elias's mace, and then you all just like it's like this wave of percussive force that like comes out of it that is it's like it leaves behind this weird sense of nausea.
It's like a flock of birds just went through, and we're all like, "What?"
Yeah. And Velis, this is like this, almost like this, except just without the necrotic damage. But yeah, no, you smash it and the thing just like shatters. Yeah.
Oh, that
My
worked.
lord.
That was easy.
All right, that works.
Well done.
But it worked.
Good job.
Didn't actually expect that to work, but
I stand
take it.
corrected.
I guess we no longer have to worry about carrying around the creepy bracelet.
yeah.
That is a one positive thing for today.
Carry the pieces.
Yeah.
It's perhaps not a terrible idea.
How are the rest of the civilians doing?
Yeah,
They
come
ran
back.
Yeah, have they
We just have the one right now.
And he's
Right, he's
sleeping.
unconscious.
Oh, and what happened to the ones
Oh, there's
inside?
two unconscious. Yeah.
Oh, there were
They're
the
healed.
two younger teens. I was gonna say they probably ran off. They're part of the group. So the two younger teens, the two adult males, the adult female, and then the newcomer, the Smith.
Cat wants to roll dice. She keeps batting them off the table.
She's like, "When are you guys gonna get into combat?" No, you avoided combat, so yeah, that was exciting.
3 times
Oh,
in a
we'll
row.
have even more combat later because of that, most probably.
yeah.
Okay,
But it'll be
so
an
let's
adult
take
dragon.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Nah, no. don't say that.
Better a dragon than some weird corrupted.
That's true.
Yeah, aberration
Yeah,
dragon
aberration.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to know what would have come out of that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, Aberration Dragon sounds
would've
like a
been-
bad life choice.
Organ
That would've been
dragon, no.
Fun monster to create.
Oh,
Yeah.
organ dragon.
Let's take like a
Fun to
maybe
create.
Party who actually tries to talk things out.
We're no million breakers.
take 10 or 15 minutes, refill drinks and bathroom breaks, and grab snacks or something if you need, and we'll all be back.
Copy, 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 copy!
Oh. I'm sorry.
Sort of let the adrenaline fade.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
use
no, that
8 hit dice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that
short
was.
rest.
Oh yeah, I should do that.
Yeah. I don't think I've like, used
You
anything
should
that I
what?
get back on a short rest, but
Hey, I'm full health.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, that
Dice.
totally something I feel like OC would throw at the Vermilion Breakers just because he knows they would hit first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if we hadn't seen the really obvious growth on the dragon, we probably
yeah,
would've just
or hadn't
fought.
been able to deal with it.
And
Yeah.
also, it kind of didn't just straight out attack.
Yeah, if it had attacked, we would have all
oh yeah.
fought it.
No, even despite that, I'm like, yeah, Vermilion Breakers would have just been like, kill it.
And I'm back up to full.
Yeah, I haven't used anything that. I haven't used anything, actually.
Yeah, and like I
I
cast
just use my
one
dice.
at 3rd level. I could get it back, I guess.
I got stepped on.
You did get stepped on.
You did
Well,
get stepped on.
Yep.
So that was the note that I wrote last week was tell party to look into whether the monks have a connection to the green gem. That popped into my head last week and I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
Waria stayed back.
Elias?
Waria didn't want to get close to the dragon because Waria is so small that if the dragon stepped on her, like she would be under it. Like
Please.
that's why she was like, I'm gonna hand this to Elias, who can hand it.
Yeah, hence why the small people were behind the well the whole time.
Like I was like, nope.
I need coffee.
Do not want to be smushed.
Also, Kristen, I sent you an updated picture. I finished drawing that
I
one.
know, I love it. I commented.
Oh, you did? I see now, yes. Yeah,
Yeah. I love the little curled edges.
And the little shadows that I'm like, I like subtle depth on things. It makes me happy.
Oh, yeah. I really like it. That is really nice.
Oh man.
That was something.
We didn't die.
That was pretty awesome.
We
That
didn't
was great, John.
die.
Well done.
Well done.
Things you don't expect when encountering a dragon.
Yeah, right?
Forming emergency.
Especially on a fucking chromatic dragon.
Yeah.
I was like, we got through it all, and then it's like, I'm gonna eat this person out. Like, all right, it's a chromatic.
Oh yeah, that.
it's like, oh right, this is yep, it's still chromatic.
I'm glad I rolled decently on like everything
Yeah.
I did.
That
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. Ugh. I'm not used to getting out sneaked. That was a little
Those are dragons
scary.
for you.
Dragons with blind sense.
Oh yeah.
So I feel like I actually got to use my charisma score.
I've officially rolled intimidation and deception, oddly enough, with Wiria, but I have yet to roll persuasion.
Well, that's like it's
I've rolled a decent amount of deception,
Aiden isn't
unsurprisingly.
necessarily he's not like polite, so to speak, but he knows how to talk to people and he knows how to feel.
Well, it's just funny because there have been lots of times where Wiria has been persuading people, but I assume the DC is low enough with her +10 that it's not worth her rolling.
I mean, I don't have proficiency in persuasion, but
You're just very charismatic.
I have a 20 charisma.
Yeah, I have expertise.
I do have proficiency in intimidation, though.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all.
Waria's got a +10 in persuasion, a +7 in intimidation, and a +5 in deception.
Yeah. As Elias is
minus
actually
in all of those.
0.
Yeah. Elias is actually proficient in persuasion, which hilariously means he has a +2.
Yeah, well, that's why we send my cleric who has like charisma of like 10 to do a lot of the negotiating.
Well, that's why like Aiden has.
I have a +9 to persuasion and deception because
no wisdom.
Velis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've rolled intimidation a couple times, and I've rolled deception with the monk. Because as I've always said, like Weary is unlikely to try to deceive somebody unless she has a damn good reason, and she had a damn good reason.
I'm just gonna chalk up offering to do surgery on a dragon to one of those 10 wisdom choices. I didn't quite think this through, but it does like I can sell this.
You're better than all of us because you're a half elf.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, neither Felice nor Weria nor Velis is actually human at all.
I say, Elias are the only humans.
Yeah, like.
However, Velis would not have volunteered to do dragon surgery.
Velis wasn't close enough for him to know where he was, or that he was there.
No, the dragon spotted Velis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not until he was that close, though. But when he was like calling out the humans, he was too far away.
Right. Well, and Weria and Felice also stayed back, so that's why. But it was just like we were like, most of this party is non-human.
They're not human. Yeah.
Like that dragon doesn't know.
Weria's not getting close to a dragon because it can step on her.
Yeah, that was good. That was fine.
Also help,
or swallow her.
I am perfectly happy with the squishy, swallowable people not being up close.
Here's half of the body of the person who actually hurt you.
Just half, because it got you smushed.
Just half, because it got smushed.
Mm.
We're not going to mention that he was already dead when he got smushed.
No.
Neither of them did mention that.
I was supposed to be the sneaky, shady one, and now look who's keeping secrets.
Elias has been keeping secrets this entire time.
I mean, also, to be fair, Weria, like, didn't try to stop him and then turned away to walk out, so she, like, technically doesn't know.
She's smart. She can make it in.
She knows.
None of this party would blame them at all.
I mean, Weria's not trying to keep it a secret. She was like, I have a thing to identify. Let me identify the thing.
Yeah. Honestly, Cortana would be surprised that they left him alone in there if he wasn't already dead.
Well, yeah.
Like, even with the dragon.
Well, I mean, he was smushed before,
Yeah,
he got smushed
the
by
rock
as
fell.
soon as it showed up.
Yeah. The rock fell, like, very shortly after Elias killed him, because...
Yeah.
Lucky Elias.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. Apparently I didn't need to...
Yeah, I mean, also, like, to be fair, like, when after they resolve things, we're gonna probably...
You're helping me disguise the crime scene.
If any of the party asked, we would be like, we questioned him, and then, well, I think Elias killed him, and then a rock fell.
Like, oh, okay, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like if it came up. Yeah, that's the thing. Is she's not just gonna sit there and be like, "Excuse me, while I narrate everything that happened in this tower."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important part is we questioned them, and then he was dead.
Yeah.
And he was a terrible, terrible person who we offered a second chance.
He died because he was an idiot.
I feel like you could say that for anybody in our party.
And that is why we are guests are the troublemakers.
That we are.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying we should call ourselves the Reckless.
Both of these things are accurate.
I feel like the Troublebreakers creates more intrigue.
Yeah, Reckless.
It is intriguing.
Who's gonna hire us?
It's a good name, okay?
No, I like it straightforward.
I'm pretty sure somebody said a couple weeks ago that the name we picked was going to end up being one somebody threw out as a joke. So
that's usually the way. works.
Yeah,
I didn't have enough of an in
Wildemount
joke.
is basically a meme name, so
Yeah, it really is. And it's made funnier by the fact that their party does not have 9 people, and they kind of like run with it. And they're like,
Yeah.
also one of the first job they took after getting that name. They're like, there's totally 9 of us, right? You're gonna pay us for 9 of us. They just aren't here.
Here right now.
Right now, yeah.
And then they come back and they're still not here. They died or whatever they tell them.
They died in the sewers. We no longer have 9 party members.
We gotta keep it for further memory.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that is the thing too, like not naming, but in telling people things. Like, for example, Weary actually hasn't said anything to anyone about making friends with the unicorn because it just hasn't come up.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no one's
That's
She's
true.
not done anything.
Yeah, you haven't done anything
Wait,
more
that's
lucky.
new.
I mean,
she
used
counted
Eldritch Blast.
Oh yeah, you had the glittery Eldritch Blast.
and healing light, which would look different from healing word.
Oh.
I feel like in Felice's mind, it's just like, but Weary is always learning spells.
Yeah, you got
So,
stronger.
No, so
yeah.
So I mean, so my point being that she would.
Yeah, she's done new stuff, but nothing that's. Wait a minute.
She's absolutely not
Nothing
trying
red
to hide
flag.
it. She's
Yeah.
just it
It's
just
just not
hasn't come up.
Like, nobody
Like,
really
if someone
knows.
asked- If someone asked, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, I made friends with Kieran."
That's
and
not to
that
say
meant-
nobody has noticed.
Yeah.
but no. If someone asked, he would be like, "Oh yeah, I made friends with Kieran."
This party doesn't ask about shit like that. We don't care.
This party has enough
Convenient
secrets
for me.
to respect the things that other people don't say.
Yeah, we don't pry
I'm just like sitting here and I'm like,
often.
Baby,
But it's
honestly,
just
doesn't really have any secrets. He's just like,
it's just funny because as far as Weary is concerned, it's not a secret. It just
Yeah,
hasn't
it
come
just
up.
hasn't come up yet.
I just mean everyone else. Most everyone has enough secrets that that's
Oh, yeah,
why
yeah.
they wouldn't ask.
Yeah, like I knew what you meant, but
whereas Felice is
The boys have
somebody
secrets.
going to awkwardly ask.
The boys have secrets.
Boys have secrets.
That's so true.
Because
Also, we need to get to another city so I can actually get a tankard of sobriety and make this my tankard of sobriety going forward.
but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's just interesting how things happen.
I'll be right back.
I have a hardcore case of the nibbles tonight, except I've already eaten plenty of food and I'm not hungry, so like I keep trying to prevent myself from nibbling too much.
Yeah.
I ate most of a small pizza because stress eating.
Same.
It's fair.
It's funny because it never turned into a fight.
Right?
I grabbed Taco Bell on my way home from the pub.
But you're always stressing that it's going to turn into a fight.
Yeah, well now like who knows
It almost
what we're
did
gonna be
with the grabby of guy.
And they were like, no, bad dragging.
Yeah.
Drop it. Drop it.
No! Stop it, dragon.
Drop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Put that down.
What do you have in your hand?
What is in your hand? Drop it. Drop it. But don't actually drop it because it's squishy.
Put that back.
Put
You
that
don't know where it's been. It's been in the woods. It is covered in ticks.
Probably.
No, wait, so it wasn't that
gonna
guy,
be able to drink
though.
this
So
coffee.
never mind. Because it's still technically been through the woods.
It's been in the swamp, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't enough coffee left to make a proper cup of coffee, and it's like kind of watery, and
Aw.
I don't have coffee.
I'm sorry.
That is the saddest.
It is sad.
So-
I should have made a half cup, but oh well.
Something occurred to me.
No.
Maria hasn't actually told anyone
They were
about
just
the
all-
unicorn.
We were literally just
We were
trying to
talking
come
about
up.
About that.
Yeah. But
She's not trying to hide it. It just hasn't come up.
but she's like in that battle. That's the thing. Is like the unicorn horn.
nipping me,
Yeah.
but I'm like,
you actually have to wield the thing
Right.
if you want to use its effects.
Right.
Which means you've been sort of like, well, you only used it in that one battle
Right.
last time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the unicorn horn, it's like 20, 24 inches long.
Yeah.
Which is like half your own size. So it's like a two-handed... almost like
A giant unicorn horn, guys. Like no one has said anything. To be fair, I didn't think about the fact that it was that large. I don't think anyone thought about it.
That's hilarious.
I didn't realize that because I wasn't there that time.
Yeah. Well,
this isn't like My Little Pony, like a little tiny thing. No, this is like a long...
Yeah. So it'll probably come up next time she uses it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, she like.
Like, where did you get that new wand, Wiria? That really giant wand.
She's making no attempt to hide it. It just hasn't come up. So she's like, if anyone asked, she'd tell them that she made friends with a Kieran.
Yeah. Blasting people with like sparkly death magic.
And she'd be like, they'd be like, the heck? And they're like, well, I did. That's what happened.
What the fuck's a Kieran?
Huh?
It's a beer.
Develop, what the fuck's a Kieran? Mary made friends with beer.
It's like a unicorn, only bigger. No, she would explain, but yeah, that would. But no, I'm waiting for it to come up because I feel like at some point, like someone's gonna comment on that.
Yeah.
What the heck is that thing? Where ya? Oh, and it looks like a unicorn, a giant unicorn.
Because it is.
Yeah, I mean it's like pearlescent and it's sparkling pretty much under any lights. It's like it's almost not see.
I feel like Wanda would have appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, when she pulled it out, a lot of the party was up at top, so a lot of them may not have seen her.
I was the only one down below and was not really paying any attention to
Wiria. So arguably, no one noticed during that fight.
Yeah.
But like next time, I'm sure someone will notice and be like, "No."
Also, I was looking through my inventory. I have an obscene amount of daggers in my inventory.
I am not surprised.
I need to remove the potion. Oh, someone did. Okay, good.
I did, yeah.
Cool. I
have 5. Including my dagger of venom, I have 5 daggers.
Hey, it's useful to have lots of daggers when you're a rogue.
If you want to throw them, there you go.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that's what I've been using them for.
Well then.
Are
you all here?
Almost.
I have some interesting things that I've been holding on to for a long time in case they become useful.
Like
items or secrets?
Yeah.
Oh. Guys, if you do have anything like interesting that you've picked up, make sure that's like in your D&D Beyond inventories or something like that.
No, it is.
Then I can kind of on a regular basis look over your character sheets and make sure like, oh, you can cast these spells and you have these items, so that I can keep track of all of them.
Specifically talking about the potion.
Number 1, the butter churning milkmaid.
Wiria, I purchased the pack Rod of the Oath Keeper, whatever it's called, in D&D Beyond. So it's in my character sheet now.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about Potion of Invisibility and Bead of Force and
there's quite a few.
Yeah.
Well, there's holding on to the Bead of Force.
There's some interesting stuff.
Oh, Tuba.
I don't know what character that is, but if Velis
Tuba.
Same thing that is like icon.
Kristen, what did you say?
The icon.
What did you say, Kristen?
What did I say? What?
That led to Tuba. I missed what you said.
Oh, best poster.
Oh, best.
Yeah. Look at. Yeah, it was best.
Yeah.
Okay.
You will appreciate the gift, Teresa.
Go Tuba. Brendan, Toga. Some of the characters called Tuba is a terrible trash human.
Okay.
I love him.
He's a terrible trash human, yes. That's
the best worst character.
Speaking of trash characters, Maggie,
in a series called
I'll just
Revolutionary
message you.
Girl Utna, which is glorious. And
I've seen that name online. No, it looks like vague
I have a potion of invulnerability.
AU version of Velis that joined the Imperial Army or something.
Dye his hair bright red.
Right.
Oh, in the other kingdom?
Yes, in the other deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Utna is great.
Did I give it to
because
It's really
like
good.
existential.
I know I had one.
lesbians.
I may have given it personally.
I still have
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a
Well,
90s anime.
that or
It's
we are all
wonderful.
giving out the podcast.
Yeah, that screams
good.
90s anime.
I feel like
Oh yeah.
When I get-
Oh
It's
yeah.
a hugely, it's a
I
very
think that was
existential
maybe
show,
something
It is
and there are
very good.
lesbians.
Okay.
Yep.
they'll translate it or something.
How else to describe Utna?
Mm-hmm.
Rapier lesbians. There you go.
Rapier lesbian, that's fair.
Rapier lesbians is pretty accurate.
In the movie, they turn into cars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the car turning. Yeah.
That's
That
just-
actually
Yeah,
that
I've
syncs,
heard
that
about
syncs
that.
to Dark Side of the Moon. I have found this out. We need to watch
I
this.
heard that.
That sounds like a fun party. I think.
Yes,
I think
we need
should
to have
a-
this party.
a Dark Side of the Moon Utna party someday.
But yes, probably
Okay.
leaving these ruins. Hopefully.
I think so.
Ah!
Or at least helping this guy find the rest of his group.
We're gonna leans over to shake this guy to see if he wakes up. Like, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you do, he sort of screams and like
It's okay.
backs up.
I promise
and he's
it's
like,
okay.
and he's,
The dragon's
the
gone.
dragon! There's a dragon!
It's gone. It's gone. It's okay.
Not anymore. What dragon?
And he's sort of like looking around in fear, and it's like there's like you're all just kind of standing there, and he just looks really confused. Like he did not
Yeah,
expect.
those
Wait, what?
bits
What?
on the ground over there, those are dragon bits. You're good.
Did you kill the dragon?
No.
Yes, absolutely.
No, fellas, don't lie.
It's obvious.
It was sarcasm. It's not my fault if you didn't understand it.
Okay.
No, but the dragon is at least gone for now. You should get out of the swamp, though. It's like,
Do I know at all what direction the rest of his...
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
rest
say
of-
Kratos might go out and call for them.
They kind of just scattered, and you were all very focused on the dragon, and you didn't quite.
I can try and track him down.
Well, after like a few moments of calling out that it's safe, all of the people end up sort of making their way back slowly. You can see the all of the ones that that are accounted for at least.
well,
They did sneeze. Their cart turned over, so perhaps we could all do
Yeah.
that and then get on our way.
Help out with that.
that card is very large. I don't think I'll be much help in turning it back.
All of us,
Aiden and
not
I
including thee, and Thales.
Well, Felice could turn into some sort of animal and turn it over.
I suppose so.
I'm just
Yeah.
not very strong.
Yeah, you can see
When you were talking about the card earlier, I had that thought, and then it was like dragon. So
I can help.
Yeah. I can also
They
help.
can... Maybe we found a bunch of supplies.
I can watch.
Yeah, the brothers won't be needing anymore.
I mean, there are like
Moral
crates
support.
and sacks and barrels just strewn all about. And the remaining survivors could very likely kind of just collect it all and scavenge everything that they can. The cart that's turned over is like the only one that is really still in working condition, usable. It's lacking
horses.
animals,
Yeah.
but it is functional of sorts. Yeah.
Is it like Is it a 2-horse cart or?
It is a 2-horse cart. It is big and bulky. Anything, the other cart and the other wagons and stuff are destroyed.
Did they say which direction they were going?
They were on towards.
Well,
They were heading toward Guarden.
Yeah.
They were
As are we.
the ones we met in the inn.
yeah.
Is Guarden or turning back faster for them?
Well, let's pop you over to our map. All right.
We're over here. Right?
Yeah. So you're basically kind of in the middle, and you're kind of halfway in between.
Yeah.
Give me a moment.
We're
it's
halfway
not
in between Gordon and the halfway point. So
Right.
we're not gonna stay there.
Now I don't have. Give me a second. I can upload. All right. I need to find. I was doing a lot of map stuff last night. Was it last night or the night before? It really blurs together. I've been looking at so many Exandria maps. It's kind of nuts. Because none of them are exactly the exact same right shape. And also like the two Devon Rue maps, the Imperial map and the Menagerie Coast map, are the same scale, but they don't line up exactly. And there's a certain element of that that drives me kind of bonkers.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay, so let's see here. Because I do have the scale of sorts for the Menagerie Coast map. Hold on. Just give me a second. Okay. It's about 60 miles to Guarden, and about the same amount back to, give or take, to the halfway.
At this point, I mean, we might as well.
Try to escort them.
Escort them to
Get
do
them
an
to
escort
Gordon.
mission.
They can
Right.
resupply there. You can't.
Yeah,
do
I mean,
much
that's
after
like
in.
about 3 days at a normal pace. 2 if you push it. But if you're going yourself, you could push it. But with a cart, I don't even know how you're going to quite get the cart either.
Yes, perhaps they should leave the cart and we can escort them to Guarden.
Leaving the cart is really the only choice at this
Salvage what we
point, I
can.
think.
Right.
I mean, how far is this place?
You're about it's about 60 miles.
Yeah, that's
Still
really
through the swamp and some foothills and stuff.
Okay, I was like, if it's really close, then yeah, Felix can just pull the cart. But if it's like a couple days, then yeah, no.
The guy who was sort of outside, the one who fainted first. Right. So as you're all sort of guessing, he's like, I would be, well, I guess, and he sort of like seems to resolve something, and you see him sort of like reach up, and it looks like he's reaching for a hat that's not there. And as he pulls it off, his form shifts. And he gets about 2 or 3 feet taller, and you can see the large form of a furbolg standing in front of you. Respectfully, you can see he's got sort of bluish skin, goggles up on his forehead. I would certainly be obliged if you could all maybe help me get my cart back to Gordon. The name's Pumat Soul.
As we all die. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Are you still Gordon, by the way? I'm writing notes.
Wait, would Grados have ever seen a Firbolg?
Firbolg? I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's very. I mean, I would say even if you hadn't, at this point, you're kind of. It's very difficult to really take any of you, like shock any of you with all of the things.
That's true.
I mean, you've certainly seen magic.
It's less shocking.
And
More
Bellis has a hat of disguise,
curiosity.
so
Like,
Yeah.
I do have out of disguise.
Yes. It's certainly not something we can carry by ourselves, but I think I might have an enchantment that might help. If you could all perhaps escort the remainder of the caravan. I apologize that I'm not getting that accent.
It's okay.
Minnesota.
It's Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
Minnesota Matt McConaughey.
Yeah, that's like I'm trying to like think of what. It's just not there in my head.
It's fine.
I was going to watch a bunch of videos. I just didn't get time. I could. I already owe you so much for everything that you've done. That was quite impressive. I have no small skill with magic, but what you accomplished, it was quite remarkable, actually.
Thanks. I'm a
Well,
professional.
It would be a bit slower with the cart, but
We aren't going to Gordon anyway.
that is where we're headed.
You say you have something that can help us pull this cart along?
Yeah, I can summon a spectral steed.
Oh!
But only one. What?
Not Geralt.
Sorry.
Adventure Zone reference.
Adventure Zone. They Geralt.
And he was a character.
Gotcha.
Geralt's wonderful.
Well, would one be able to pull it? Is that magic steeds? Yeah.
Let me see.
Because Felice can turn into something for a little while, but probably not all the way to gardens. So
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, so here's
Phantom
the
seeds only last for an hour.
my
or two.
wild seed,
But it's
I
a
get 2
ritual.
uses of it, and it refreshes on a short rest. So if there's a steed that can also be around for a little bit of time, in theory, Felice can horse pull the cart, then take a nap in the cart.
trade off with the spectral steed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if it's Phantom Steed, they only last for an hour.
As long as the cart isn't too heavy for one is the
Right.
thing.
When did he say it was specifically a 2-horse
I
cart?
asked him
Yeah, it's a big cart.
Yeah.
a few
Yeah.
minutes ago.
I don't know. People have been saying a lot of things, so I've lost track of things.
Yeah, I missed the two. And it was
Which
two horse.
person
Wow.
turned into Pumat Soul? That's what I missed.
The one that
Oh,
was
yeah.
in the one that
the-
Katana's found in the woods.
The smith.
Okay. Okay.
He's actually still wearing like the
apron.
same leather apron. Yeah.
Well, let's see about getting this cart right in.
Yeah. First things
perhaps,
first.
first
Let's see if
things
we can get
first. I will watch. I'm not.
Yeah.
Guys.
Katana still get to one side and help.
I'm assuming like Elias and Aiden are taking the lead on this.
Yeah.
I have.
I'm just gonna
I have
watch.
some
Strength.
strength, not as much strength as you two, but I have some. A non-negative amount.
Right.
I have negative strength.
He sort of like looks at everything, at everyone. He's like, let's see. He's sort of like looking at the things, looking at everybody, all people, all the supplies. He's kind of scratching his head. Oh, well, that's a bummer. It's gonna take a little bit longer for me to get started, but if it gets us out of this swamp, yeah, I think we can probably leave most of the supplies here. I guess we can all go through and maybe pack up what's most valuable, but I think we can all fit in the cart. If we can take shifts, I think we might be able to get there, at least before the spell runs out. Or before the magic runs out. He didn't say spell, he said magic.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just be like, well, I can be a horse for like, a couple hours, and then I just take like a little nap, but then I can do it again, and then if I can just keep getting a little break in there. I've never really tried to do it consistently throughout the day, but I should be able to.
Just don't forget how to be a gnome.
If perhaps some of you might be handled with some rope, He sort of like reaches into a pouch and kind of walks over. Excuse me. Well, perhaps we can get this cart righted first. That's
probably the best thing to start with. Yeah,
right.
Of course.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All
My
right.
proficiency in land vehicles, does that include riding them?
Yes, actually.
I'm pretty sure. Let me double.
I mean,
I do. I have
With
land.
so.
and everybody kind of pitching in, it's actually but if you manage to right the cart.
I'm picturing Bailey's putting her back up against it and being like, "Hey!" Because she's like,
Waria's watching.
Lift your legs. Lift your legs.
Waria's probably trying.
Bella's just sitting with Waria and watching.
Yeah.
I mean, Bailey's has a strength of like what, 14?
Yeah,
Maybe it's
Waria's
12.
Is 9.
We have the
She
same
can't
strength.
fight.
It's 12. Her dex is 14.
Yeah.
It's 12, so it's like it's positive.
We have the
So
same
the-
strength. That's awesome.
The sort of all the remaining folk kind of gather up. They gather like a few back, like a backpack and a sack of a couple of things. They go through and spend as you're sort of like you sort of took a long rest. You righted the cart and they gather up everything that they can kind of carry because getting everyone on the cart leaves very little. I mean, it's kind of a little cramped, and getting everyone on the cart leaves very little any of the supplies and other such. But they're more than everyone is pretty much more than happy to leave everything behind if it means they can get out of the swamp.
Yeah.
Barry has a broom.
Yeah, I can fly too.
So
I don't know how much of their supplies we could get in our bag of holding to help them, but that's about it.
Our creepy ass bag of holding.
No,
creepy ass bag of holding.
Red's
Let's
just
not
a creepy
do
ass bag.
that.
I thought we had I thought we had another.
No,
We don't have a normal bag of holding.
Creepy ass bag of holding.
Yeah.
you could get a significant amount of things into it if you.
Let's not
No.
do
I
that.
don't
We
think we
could,
want to
but-
show all these
Ever.
people our elf skin bag of holding.
I mean, on first glance, it just looks like a.
Yeah, though to be fair, it's Pumat's
not.
soul.
Yeah.
Let's
We just
not
won't
do that.
mention what it's made of.
Why am I the only one advocating against
Who knows?
this right
Maybe
now?
he would be the one we could
This
pass
seems
it off to eventually.
Fucking backwards.
Hey, Pumat, do you want this weird, creepy bag of holding?
Maybe we can
Don't
get
ask
a
what it's
normal
made of.
one from him.
Yeah, we don't want this one.
Trade it for a normal one.
Well, I mean, yeah. Unless there's stuff they really, really need
Yeah.
that we can't fit. I mean, like if
It
we
does
really
feel
need
strength hairdryer, and I can't live without it.
But I figure at this point they just want to get out of the swamp more
Yeah.
than they need
Right.
anything. So
So, gather what we can.
Okay. So once the cart is loaded up with the maybe basic supplies and whatnot, Pumat reaches into a pouch and pulls out. You don't quite see. It looks like a small white statuette of some kind, and he sort of plods over to in front of the cart and puts it down. And it seems to be a magic item. And he hey, stand back now. And he like takes a number of steps back and then utters a command word, and you can see this little white statue start growing and getting bigger and bigger, larger than the size of a dog, bigger than a horse, and continue to grow. And I don't think any of you have ever seen, but it is basically it's a albino elephant.
Oh,
Whoa.
nice.
Oh.
Yes.
Cortanus is completely unfazed by this. This is probably normal back then. Just like magic like this.
Yeah, probably. You may not recognize the animal.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly got enough strength to pull everybody.
Yeah.
If we and he kind of like looks at the cart and scratches his head. It's kind of meant for horses, but a little bit of ingenuity and some elbow grease, and we can get on the road. And he's
Just leaning over
He's
to the
not
mice.
like a-
What is elbow grease?
Hard work.
Okay.
it's being a magical. my accent is so bad. Being
okay.
a magical construct, we don't have to worry about him getting tired. He'll keep on going all the way to Guarden.
Oh,
But,
that's helpful.
That's useful.
But someone will probably need to take shifts to make sure the cart stays on track.
I can do that.
Yeah.
We can
I can
manage
drive.
that, sure.
I don't need much sleep.
I'm pretty sure my
Keep the cart on track and keep
Tool
an eye out for any
proficiency
trouble.
means I
between
can
you do
drive.
that.
Right. Yeah. So the it will last for 24 hours, which if it goes continuously the entire time with maybe stops for bathroom breaks and such, it can basically go the entire time, and so everybody can rest and whatnot on the way. But the thing is, it can only be used once every 7 days.
Ah,
yeah.
So
we
that's
can
why it
get
has
to
to be in
Guarden.
one go.
yeah.
So we gotta.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go then.
Let's go.
Okay.
Useful trick.
Okay. So with a little bit of finagling, you managed to adapt the cart as best as possible to the elephant. And it sort of trumpets out loud, and the older guy who had been manhandled by the dragon handled by the dragon, kind of starts a little bit. The two younger teens are pretty jazzed about the turn this adventure has taken, and you make your way north through the rest of the swamp, leaving behind the tower and all of the strewn about supplies and bodies of those who were not quite
I probably would have at least done some kind of
rights.
service rights for the bodies, even if we couldn't bury them.
Right.
Ideally.
Okay. I mean, you took a short rest.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then there's probably
because I didn't actually need to take a short rest.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, I mean, the thing about the Menagerie Coast is that the Empire is just on the other side of the mountains. It is not way to the east. It's basically always just on the other side of the mountain. And I've been staring at the maps for quite some time.
Yeah.
Once you get past Guarden, though, it does get considerably more distant from a logistical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
That's real close to Tal'Darai, isn't it?
Yeah, where we're going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, where we're going is real close.
At that point, you're probably closer to Whitestone than Port Damali.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's actually, because I've been re-listening to Stone Arc, that's actually where they were going to do the bridge. There where the Briarwoods wanted to make the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no civilization. It would make zero sense because Guarden is the closest city, and it's still
Quite a ways.
300 or 400 miles away. Yeah. So it was. Once I started seeing the map, they actually used to be connected to the bridge. I don't know if it was the Calamity or something in the Asia Arcanum that broke it, but it used to be connected. Okay.
I want to say, as we get close to Guarden, I'm going to pop the Hat of Disguise back on.
Okay.
Scruffy, human, boring.
Mm-hmm.
As we're going though, Cortanis is gonna look through her bag a bit, just checking things, and notice something, and kind of pull out a stone. Thinks to herself as she looks around the group. Velis, dost thou need a whetstone? And she kind of holds up this stone, noticing that he has a lot of blades.
His bag got lots of sharp things.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. Why all of a sudden?
No particular reason, but I has no need for it anymore. Mine blades hath not become unsharp since Port Damali. And she kind of holds it up to him.
Take it.
Yay, magic swords.
Camera.
Roll 21.
Yeah, roll 20 is being
thou
rolled.
couldst use it far more than I. Thou hast
Thanks.
many blades to keep sharp. Give him a nod.
Sort of what I'm good at.
That
Or
I
good
have
at
noticed.
I'll put it
Not
in my
particularly
bag.
waving them at dragons from behind.
Well,
On
to
that
be
note,
fair,
I'm gonna be
threatening the
cleaning
dragon.
my regular longsword that I attempted to use at first.
Yeah.
It's probably
I
good
figured it
that
was
you
that
did
or
that.
Aiden, and I know he at least has a magic blade at one point. They can pass it off.
Right.
Well, now I can't see anyone.
Yeah, I'm just seeing.
Camera
Yeah,
is...
I
yeah,
just
my
see
camera.
Oh, was the character that you took a picture of the same icon that you have, Maggie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Ah.
the character in the GIF is the same one.
His name is
Oh,
Toga.
bad.
We call him Toga.
Yeah, his name is
because
Toga.
dubs.
Okay.
Because anime
He's an
dubs.
asshole.
He's
They
terrible.
pronounce it Tuga in the dub.
Yeah, the dub of
He is terrible.
Utna is really bad at pronouncing names. In
A
case
lot of
anyone-
90s dubs were pretty bad.
A lot of 90s
Yeah.
were pretty bad at that.
Oh wow.
He
Rumble
is
20
actually a
is-
terrible person. Yeah.
All right, hold on.
There we go.
Refresh it. It's unresponsive.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what
Your
happened to
video's
me.
working right now, but
Well,
Yeah.
I can
Just
see
the
John.
I
Yeah,
just realized when I was actually
Maggie-
looking through my inventory.
I
it's
just
like,
see
oh, Whetstone,
Tuba.
I don't need that anymore.
yeah. Oh, I refreshed. Now I've got Maggie.
I will say,
Yeah,
probably later that night
can
on the
see
way there,
Jerusha.
I'll must be just sitting back in the cart and sharpening staggers.
So now I can't see Kristen.
yeah, I can't see
I'll refresh.
anyone else.
I'll play
I can
the
see
refresh
Jerusha and
game.
John, and that's it.
Yeah, I can see Jerusha and John. That's it right now.
I can't see Brendan or Kristen, but I can see everyone else.
Yeah, I had to close.
I'm
the
refreshing.
app.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I'm
Saturday
trying to
night's a
refresh.
busy
It's
night.
kind of being done.
Yeah. Surprise,
Or
surprise.
Roll20's just having issues tonight. Or both.
Would be the
It's a
night.
busy night and it's having issues.
Mm-hmm.
This D10 I have is so pretty.
All right, I'm restarting.
I got it in my like Advent bag of holding thing I bought.
Hey guys, he's not Pumat Soul. He's Pumat Small.
Small. Small.
I'm pretty sure like
If you had Tensor's
Yeah.
transformation, you'd be
Rest of the
Pumat Swole.
Oh, you want to get on the computer at 11?
No, I just want to get on the computer.
Because the what event? The Fortnite event. It's 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. Eastern, which would make it 11 p.m. our time. But you can do that on the Switch.
There you go. I got Kristen.
No, I just want to use the computer so I can play.
Oh,
I saw
that Roblox game.
Yeah.
Not tonight, buddy.
Are you going to use it for the rest of the night?
I might be.
Till 1 o'clock?
Ah, children.
Probably till your bedtime.
Sorry.
Your bedtime is before 1 a.m., child.
For a long time, they would actually go or the bedtime was at 7:30 because Tracy and I wanted to have at least an hour or so of
Right.
childless time to not have to deal
That's
with children.
fair.
But it's slipped a little bit now that they've gotten older.
That makes sense.
Okay, so
Well, I can't see Aaron or Bassett.
I can see everybody now.
yeah, I've got
I
I just can't see you and
or
Felix.
Aaron.
That's it.
Did I try refreshing?
reconnect.
Yeah, I will try refreshing mine because I've not done that yet.
I'm not gonna try because it takes too long.
I know. I'm like, hopefully I don't break it for everybody. Sorry if I do.
The occasional bio breaks stop. Although most people don't go too far from the cart.
Probably smart.
Yeah. I mean, it's the elephant sets a pretty steady pace. And generally the presence of such a large, maybe not a lot of natural predators. But during the night, as you are still sort of I would say Aiden especially, but probably also Velis. It looks as if you might be being trailed by possibly kobolds. It's kind of hard to tell because they're very small and sneaky, but both of you have the best vision in the dark. And they're keeping a distance and not getting very close. But once it starts getting night, and I mean, the elephant's just putting on a continuous pace. A bunch of people are probably have gone to sleep, considering how dark and late it's gotten. But you notice that there's kobolds following.
We want to do something about that.
I mean, I wonder if they're waiting for us to stop.
Well, I think we should at least let them know we see them. Maybe they'll stop trying.
Maybe.
I'm gonna pop dancing lights behind the cart, just 1, 2, 3, 4 spaced out in their direction, kind of like pointing to them, kind of like an ICU.
Okay.
Just see what they do.
Okay, so you basically get this little kind of following the cart as it goes. And they still seem to follow at quite the distance.
Should I take a shot?
They don't really seem to react.
Couldn't hurt them yet. Scare them. I'll drop the dancing lights.
Warning shot.
They're probably a good 100. I mean, it depends. Sometimes they're a little bit closer. Sometimes they back up a little bit, but they're keeping probably a good 100+ feet away, which is why only you two had noticed them.
I mean, Eldritch Blast is 120-foot range.
Oh. Yeah, scare them. See what happens.
Alright.
Are we awake?
I don't know. Are you guys just... I would imagine if Velis and Aiden were having this conversation and they were both sort of up and keeping watch, everyone else would be asleep. Unless someone would intend... Like, I would imagine maybe Cortanus might stay awake or want to stay awake.
Yeah, at least as much as possible, but at the same time, we should also space out the people who can see in the dark for watches.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to hand off our goggles of night whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I figure we're trading those between the humans.
Yeah.
I usually...
since Elias volunteered to help, like, drive the cart.
Yeah.
I usually assume that Velis takes 2 watches.
Right.
Just because
He takes less sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And if only one of you is on watch and the other just like, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Kind of thing. Yeah, so go ahead and make an attack roll. Because you can see the creatures, and they are technically within range. And there is no short or long range on Eldritch Blast, so make an attack. Are you actually aiming for one of them or just near them?
No, I was just aiming near them.
Warning shot across our nose.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just gonna shoot it right in between one of their legs. You know.
Okay. Well, make an attack roll for that specifically.
I rolled a natural 20.
Right.
Wonderful.
Sharp
Yeah, so considering the distance they are away, you kind of like look at it and you arc the shot, and it like goes into the air, and you can hear like very, very, very faintly, you can't hear the detail, but you can hear high-pitched voices sort of reacting to it. And then it's just sort of, then comes down. And then as it like gets closer and closer and closer and closer, you hear a bunch of like high-pitched squeals. And you can see like one of them like dive out of the way. Like I said, it goes quick. And then you can actually, as they all like scatter, after like a couple of moments of nothing else coming at them, they all sort of like come back out of hiding from under and behind things, and sort of they seem to sort of be stopped for a moment, and they're kind of arguing with one another.
Nice
and, I mean,
shots.
Yeah, let's do that.
And there seems to be a fight. And like one of them like shoves another one, and there's like, and now they're like breaking out into like, I think they're like fist like punching each other.
Fisticuffs.
Cobalt fisticuffs.
Cobalt fisticuffs.
I think they're well otherwise occupied now.
Right.
Seems that way.
But
Bellis is just like leaning up on the edge of the cart, enjoying
Right.
this thoroughly. Like,
I mean, it's you don't see it nearly does, because even with dark vision, it's still dim light. But Aiden can see everything perfectly well, as if like someone amped the gamma all the way up on the game. And eventually, one of them manages to get advantage on the other one of some kind, and is like basically kind of like body slams onto the ground, says something, and then says something to the others, and they all sort of like begrudgingly nod, and then follow as that kobold turns and starts following you guys again.
dedicated little fuckers, aren't they?
Well, I don't know if they're
Everyone's
planning.
cutting out.
No, I was just pausing.
Because everyone was like, they weren't saying anything, but I thought it froze again, but you're just being quiet.
Oh, we'll just keep an eye on them, whoever takes over.
Okay.
It's fair.
Okay. They remain at a distance, dropping back maybe a couple of extra dozen feet, but they tail the cart basically for the rest of the night. And once the cart starts hitting drier land, probably sometime in the morning, and it's beginning to get sort of you got some foothills, just a slow, gentle. As you're increasing in elevation, the ground is getting drier. The vegetation is beginning to shift from a marshland, these droopy bayou type trees, into drier, more temperate or whatever type vegetation that would be. They seem to stop following you in the swamp.
I figured by morning Bellis has taken a nap.
Yeah. I mean, once it's daytime, you can, whoever's on watch, because I'm sure
I went to bed.
their watch.
But all the rest of us have.
But the rest of you are sort of watching.
Yeah. Could have to be on the watch then.
Yeah. They stop following once you reach the edge of the swamp and start going into the hills.
Well, I'm glad to be out of the swamp at least.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Someday we'll have to go back through there, I imagine, but
Sort of a big yawn as Pumat sits up and stretches. He's like, well, I take it that we're all still here, so Dragon didn't show his face again last night.
it does seem to be that way, yes.
I have heard perhaps some kobolds, but they hath parted ways with us.
They didn't, yes.
Kobolds?
That's what Bellis and Aiden mentioned.
Buggers just following us. They didn't try anything.
Yeah.
Imagine if we'd stopped, they might have.
Probably.
Well, not much of a threat individually, but in large enough numbers, they can certainly certainly
Yeah.
ruin your day.
Or night, as the case may have been.
Before,
Or night.
about?
What?
Has Felice ever heard of a kobold before? Does she know?
Probably. I would imagine. There's not a whole lot of them in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, that's what
Generally speaking.
noticing bar.
Most
Right.
kobolds aren't aquatic.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why I was
Haven't you
I would
ever heard of
imagine-
sea kobolds?
Are they like seahorses? Only lizard?
Yes, exactly.
No, they're like
Yes.
seagulls.
Seabolds.
Behind you going, mine.
Seagulls.
Right. Yeah, I think you'd probably have heard of them, but
Yeah.
maybe never had a close encounter with them. So like maybe seeing these creatures in the morning before they like dash off or stop falling may have been like it's a new experience.
Felice wakes up and is like peering out like a small child at the few remaining scattered kobolds, and she's like,
They're actually smaller, so it's quite interesting.
Yeah, kobolds are tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like 2 feet.
Oh.
Like even Wary is like, you're little.
Yeah. But other than those kobolds, the most of the rest of the day passes somewhat uneventfully. You don't really pass anyone else on the road, or
Like goblin.
sorry. But the road, as it starts going up through these hills, it's still mostly sort of like rolling hills, but eventually you get to a point where the terrain has gotten a little bit more mountainous. I mean, it's not so much mountains. These are definitely foothills. So you're looking at like hundreds of feet, maybe passing over rougher terrain, but it's not like towering mountains by you. But it's definitely shifted to dry, cracked, rocky, with occasional tufts of grass and vegetation and trees. And at one point, as you're traversing sort of a bend around a large hill, it's not like a narrow path on a mountain road, but it's almost. I mean, it would be a pleasant. Actually, it is quite a pleasant view. You can kind of see. It's sort of like a final turn around a large hill before you kind of get into the on the other side of the main. So it's like the summit point between on this ridge of foothills, and you can kind of see grasslands and then a large forest kind of way off in the distance, probably about 30 miles. So you're kind of coming around finally, beginning the descent down into the lower elevation and the foothills, and you can see way off in the distance, partially integrated into the actual tree and forest itself, is a fairly large settlement of sorts, and it looks as it's very there's not like a big wall surrounding it. There are some farms out and about, but you definitely get the sense that this is not like any of the settlements and stuff that you had passed along the Menagerie Coast. The word was that this is a very, very large elven population. And just sort of at first glance, you can almost tell the very organic nature of the construction of the settlement and the way it's been laid out is not in the typical structured pattern of dwarves and partially of humans. And it's on the descent around some of these sort of winding path that you come across. It looks like maybe the remains of something, a creature or something in the road up ahead.
It's a little way ahead of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
Okay.
kind of see.
I imagine Elias probably up towards the front of the.
Unless anyone
wagon.
objects, well, we're just gonna be like, do I want to go? Do you want me to go check that out? And holds up the room.
I mean,
I'm imagining Velas is still napping.
So unless anyone says to wait, she's gonna hop on the broom and go take a look.
It's not. I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's not the middle of the path because like the elephant is. I mean, you don't really need to tell the elephant what to do because it's sort of a magical construct, and its instructions are simply go forward and follow the road and don't stop. So you don't really need to pay attention to it. Make sure it stays on the road. Make sure its needs are met. So this is probably the easiest because apparently having had experience with land vehicles, it's I'd imagine it's like
drives itself.
Yeah, it's like getting into a Tesla or something, and it goes into
self-driving car.
It's like, wow, yeah, almost, not quite. So it's super easy.
Make sure.
Yeah, so you can see it's probably 50 to 100 or something feet ahead of you, kind of around the bit off to the side of the road. And it looks like it's just you're not quite sure what it is. It's a shape on the ground, vaguely medium-ish sized. And based on what you're it's like big roadkill almost. So if you want to stop or if you want to just keep on going, you'll pass right by it.
So it's not in the way, basically.
Right.
Okay.
Take a look as we go by.
Keep going, or
that seems. At least see what it is.
Okay.
Do we keep going or yeah?
Yeah. So I mean, unless you say anything, plod along. And as you kind of begin to pull up next to it, you can see this is definitely the remains of some kind of. And as you
humanoid, some kind of you cut out, yeah.
Humanoid.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult to really determine exactly what kind because it's kind of gibbed. But at first glance, it looks like perhaps whatever this creature was, like it looks almost as if it had exploded.
That's lovely. Lovely.
That's not good.
I
mean, maybe it just exploded because, that's what happens to corpses when you leave them out for too long. But
I never knew that about corpses. That's good to know.
Do that.
My peek over at Pumat. Hast thou seen something like this before, Master Soul?
Yeah. Does it look like anything?
Does this look
know
like
what happened? Like what might cause this?
And he kind of looks over and it's like,
what we
I
might
don't
have
know
seen before?
Are you stopping, or are you just sort of like, "Yep, that's a dead body," as you go on?
To be fair, I
think we're rubbernecking.
I don't know. I mean,
it's like, well, I've certainly, seen my fair share of unfortunate. That one looks like it might have been picked at a little bit by maybe some local fauna.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
I mean, if it looks like it exploded, I want to just real quick stop and just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
does this look like just? I would suggest when bodies get left out in the or does this look like something burst?
I would suggest getting the cart past it.
Yeah,
and then stopping and going back. A couple of us going back.
Would this be late enough in the day that Velas would be up, or would he still be napping for this?
I would say this is sort of late in the day.
Okay.
So let's see, because it would the way I figured is it would actually take about 20 hours going straight the whole way there, and it's been about 12 to 14, giving you about another 4 to 8 to get down the rest of the hill to Guarden.
Okay.
So it's probably late in the day, midday.
Okay. Okay.
So
Because I think Velis would have slept at like dawn. So
so when
we
we make
have
it,
seen
You
things
wanna come look at body
explode
weight?
before.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Is
I'd like to
What
take a look
happened
at
with
that.
perhaps a few of us go take a look, and the others stay with the cart.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
with
want to make
Elias.
sure that this is not the kind of exploding we've seen before.
I'm already out
I'll
of the
go-
cart.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cortana will go with.
Okay.
I'm just
Do you
hopping
want to
out.
search it?
I'm so confused.
Hmm?
What is exploding?
A body.
There's
A person.
body
A
on the
corpse.
side of the road. There's a corpse on the side of the road that looks exploded.
Right. Do you want to search a dead man?
The grave clerk says yes,
Yeah,
so yes.
Yeah,
I have already jumped out of the cart.
yeah. Elias
Sure.
is following.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elias.
So, upon closer inspection, this is definitely the remains of an elf. Their slight frame and the head is still mostly intact. You can see it's got elven features, long flowy hair, very elf. It's an elf, and it does look as if something exploded out of its chest.
I'm
there's like
assuming
a-
at this point we would have taken a long rest, technically.
Yes, there would have been a long rest. So everyone, if you
So
wanted to
let's go
like
back.
do any particular spells or anything like that, you can do that over the evening. Excuse me. Yeah. So there's like the bones and such and whatnot are broken, and everything is like you have seen this sort of thing before, of like creatures busting out of other creatures.
Yep.
I mean, if we really want to know, but
And it looks as
I think we already know.
Scavengers may have like eaten the soft parts of the body. Like it may have been here for a while.
This again.
So they've progressed the garden.
I mean, I think didn't those the brother cultist people mention that this was farther north along the coast?
Say that
You
again?
mentioned they had
I said
more.
they mentioned they had more that like this was this was an issue like along farther north along the coast. I seem to remember when they were still pretending to not be involved.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. They did say that
that.
other towns had been
other
getting.
towns.
But I mean,
Yeah.
that's if you want to believe whatever they said.
Yeah.
I mean, knowledge of the religious order is that, like, prior to like, oh, they're like all about aberrations, and they apparently worship the Chained Oblivion. Was just that they're a xenophobic, religious order, maybe kind of a little weird, culty, and that they were based in the Menagerie coasts in northwest of Port Damali.
Didst thou wish to speak to this one, my lord?
I mean, I can if we want to try to get more specific information. At least find out who it was. But I can also make an educated guess.
Judging by the clothing that it's wearing, I mean, this was not. Looking over the person, they are dressed in simple, plain, nondescript clothing, with no identifying markers or anything like that. I'm just assuming that you're inspecting the body and trying to learn as much as you can about it
before jumping into.
Right. But looking at, based on your investigation, whoever this person was, looking at sort of their body, they very much seem to be much more fit and athletic than maybe a random farmer or commoner. And they are wearing a sword belt that is with an empty scabbard. So it is very likely that whoever this was possibly a very skilled warrior. Or
Am I the
just
only one concerned that
hit the
they
tip
left this in the middle of the road without even trying to hide it?
A little. The townspeople didn't try to. We're not that far.
I
from
wonder.
Yeah.
A few hours.
Yeah, a couple hours.
But like,
Yeah. So looking at the rest of the boots that this elf was wearing, show a significant amount of road wear and just sort of wear and tear. They've traveled really far, a lot on foot. And looking at the surroundings, it doesn't look as if this person may have. There's no signs of there's no signs of a battle. There's no blood spatter or anything like that. And it might be that they were traveling and they collapsed here and then died. And
So where did they get sick?
sick, yeah.
I mean, they could have. They wouldn't have made it all the way here from Tosoa in that state.
No.
This is.
It did look like a specific direction they
like
fell in.
what we're walking to.
It's hard to say. I mean, their feet are facing south, head is so if they fell forward, and it's looking at the state of the body. It's not like on its back. It's kind of like in a fetal position, kind of thing. That may have been traveling north. I mean, if you spend enough time looking, you can see that this creature had been traveling north for quite some time. At least looking at the evidence.
The monk at the tower mentioned. Didn't he mention that they had a like a stronghold or a setup somewhere?
They said that in
Tosoa.
Tosoa.
No, it wasn't that like tower, but
it wasn't the tower. Hold on.
They had
a monastery.
Monastery.
Yeah, I have notes on that somewhere, but I don't know where it was.
It could be. I mean, we can just ask if you want to, but it could be that's.
I think it might be worth it.
Foul of.
I'd like to know where they came in contact with this.
Happened.
That's what I.
Person. Yeah.
While Elias is getting his spells ready, Velis is just muttering a steady stream of very quiet swearing.
I can hear you.
Particularly, you don't speak Undercommon. It's really foul.
But we can guess what you're saying. That you're saying.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Context clues.
Right.
I'm still
just keeping an eye out for anything coming anywhere while they're doing that.
Okay.
Are there any?
Perception
I'm
roll.
gonna look. I'm gonna look around the body for any traces of those bits of carapace or any of that like acidic spray that came out of anything like that.
Right. So you're searching around, and you don't find any evidence of any of that. I mean, what I'm figuring is that because there's time pressure or anything like that, you can like sort of take all the time that you like to investigate, CSI Taldore this. You don't find any evidence of creatures that you have encountered, but looking at some of this, there's definitely something that came out of it. You can see sort of like markings in the dirt of a creature of some kind. But those tracks...
Can I see which direction it went?
That's the thing. Is they only go a few. You can only see that you follow those tracks. Hey, you have the ability to do that.
Favorite enemy.
Exactly, and they go a short distance, and then they just.
What's up?
What's this?
And
There were tracks, and they stopped, and I don't want to think about something like this that can fly.
Another strain of parasite.
That's
infection.
That's what it looks like. Yes.
There would be few other explanations for why tracks would
suddenly stop.
Right.
Well, I'll. Do you have any specific questions beyond, who are you? What happened to you? Where did it happen?
Suppose where did they come from?
When did you first encounter one of those monks?
Yeah.
They may not even know that was what made them sick, so where they first ran into them would be fair.
Where did you one of these monk brother assholes?
At least learning where they came from first.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go ahead and cast Speak with Dead.
Yeah, so this is kind of becoming old hat.
Yep.
Things Elias does a surprising amount.
Right.
Isn't even weird.
Nope.
Elias is talking to corpses again.
No. Now, hold on. Now, is it that you're
It's
the
a
only
Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember if it specifies that I'm the only one that can.
Right.
I think it might.
I think that's just what we
doesn't actually say.
So it doesn't actually.
Or you did it as if Elias only.
Allowing it to answer the questions you pose must still have a mouth.
Yeah.
The spell fails if the corpse has last 10 days.
The spell card doesn't specify that you're the only one that can see what's going on.
I think that was just something that Matt did because he thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, and that's what you did last time, Elias.
Yeah.
Didn't speak with Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've seen it played different ways. Yeah. So when you do that, you can see like the head sort of turn and face you directly, and like it's looking at you, but the eyes are just vacant, and there's no real soul there anymore. And it's sort of regarding you and watching you and attentive.
All right.
I'm just looking up now.
That part
I'm fidgety.
Stop getting creepy. Okay. Start with who are you? I feel weird not knowing their name.
You're asking in common, right?
Yes. I don't speak Elvish.
Right. It says back in like a really, really thick Elvish accent in common. It's almost so thick that it's hard to hear. But the corpse responds. I was Sibyllith Delano. I'll type that out.
Yeah.
Okay. I was the first ranger.
I got first
ranger of the city of Guar.
Okay.
City of what?
Guarden.
what happened to you?
Yeah. What happened to you? Or I still. How did you die? Well, let me be more specific.
I think we know how she died. To be fair.
So, well,
what happened to you?
Right.
Yeah.
What happened to you? I was infected, and a creature grew within me and emerged, killing me while I was returning to the city.
I was really
hoping. Is as we expected then?
Yep.
I'd like to know where she ran into a monk.
Yeah, where did you? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase that.
Where did you first encounter the humans in the brown robes?
Yeah,
that might be too.
Where did you?
That might be too.
Where
big.
did you encounter?
Where did you?
Well, we've got 5 questions, so
you're down 2. So you got.
We're down. Got 3 left.
Yeah.
What's just that? Where did you encounter what infected you?
If they know who infected them,
yeah,
that's the thing.
I mean, we.
You could say where they came from when they started getting sick.
Where had they been traveling?
Yeah, where have they been traveling?
Okay. I could ask. Where did they travel to the monastery in the swamp? Maybe. Do we want to ask that?
Or past one.
I mean, we don't know about the monasteries in the swamp.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'd like to. I feel like if you asked them where they encountered a monk, that would tell us a lot because they have to have, right?
Yeah. Or we could say where had they been traveling in the days before they got sick.
That's a good one.
Where were you traveling?
Where were they traveling?
Where were they traveling from? Where, like, to get back to? Where were you traveling right before you got infected? Or
where are you coming from? Yeah.
Where were you coming from? You said you were returning to the city.
A monastery hidden in the mountains.
Got him.
Perhaps where exactly this monastery is located?
Yeah. Where in the mountains is this monastery?
Trying to figure out how to accurately describe this in a way that would be expressed by a person who went there on foot.
And is now dead.
Right. It is hidden in a valley. 2 days. Walking distance. East. In the mountains. Look for the veil that sees no.
Sorry, I got look for the veil.
The veil that what?
Yeah, look for the veil that something.
Sees no sun.
Mm.
It's 4.
I mean, just any.
Had they reached Guarden?
No, this looks like they hadn't. They outside of it.
Unless that's why they were going to Guarden or leaving Guarden to investigate.
Didn't he say he was...
show up on your door? You send out a scout?
Yeah. This is the first.
Why did
ranger.
they go to the monastery in the first place?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Why did you go to the monastery?
To discover the secret the monks have been hiding. And sort of with that last answer, it gasps and kind of like returns back to the same position it was in.
Which means they knew about the monks.
Knew about the monks. Yeah.
That at least is a good sign for Guardian.
Yeah.
Well, at least they don't trust them already.
So yeah, that means they know about the monks. They know not to trust them.
To be fair, a city of elves trusting those monks, certainly not.
Yeah.
I might not have the best opinion of elves, but I would like to think they have that much common sense. You are not that kind of elf. There is a vast difference.
You did just say elf. You didn't.
Those monks certainly did not have a high opinion of elves either.
I don't have a high opinion of those monks.
Of course. But at least those within Guardian may listen to us if we have information about these monks already.
Yeah.
And we can pass along what happened to their ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, this sounds fairly important person. I'm sure someone in Guardian would like to know. So,
How old does the body look? Like, how long has the body been?
Judging on the amount of damage from scavengers, probably maybe 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
Juicy.
Monks may already be in town if it's...
Yeah.
No.
Likely.
Well, approach with caution, then.
Yeah.
At this point, I want to poke the bear as much as anyone, but have we considered that we are not immune to this?
We're not what? Sorry, I didn't.
We're not immune.
Immune to this.
Immune. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I heard we are not immune to this, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, we aren't, but
2 days east. 'Tis in the direction we are headed either way.
We know.
I mean, if we're going to
We'd have
the
to detour.
monastery, we want to be very
Monasteries in the
careful.
mountains, yeah.
We're certainly going to Guardian, regardless of our immunity to this or not.
Yeah.
Mm.
Guardian is on the way to more immediate.
Well, and we need to get these. We can't send.
We need to get these people.
So we're going to Guardian.
Yeah.
Monastery. We can discuss what we want to do about that. I don't want to leave these monks be, but I
as
also
we were
don't
traveling,
know.
did Pumat say exactly like what he did?
Yeah, or like why?
He said that he was I think his exact words were spellcaster of no little power.
Yeah,
not
so
wrong.
He didn't specifically say. So, what'd you get from that little chat there? And he's sort of like looking over very curiously at, you're all sort of surrounding the body.
Be careful when you go into town.
Yeah.
There aren't forces at play here.
I'm actually
that
going
have
to
caused
take the
quite
hat
a
of disguise
ruckus
and...
along the Menagerie coast.
I think, rather than the human disguise, I'm just going to be Velis, but elfy. Elf colors.
Pale skin.
Stay
Not pale
very,
skin, tan skin. Yeah, surface
very far away from any monks.
Yeah.
Those of the
Yeah,
order
they-
that
Unless
was
they're,
found.
like me.
they were none too friendly when.
The monk you met at the tower.
Yeah, they kind of kept
putting it lightly.
I mean, we offered to share a meal with them, but they didn't take none too kindly to the rest of us.
Gloria looks at everybody
Probably
else
for the best.
and considers for a moment and says, "They are not a good order."
No, they're crazy.
Let us say they are stealing with the chained oblivion. If that givest thou some sort of inclination of understanding.
His eyes go wide at that point.
Yeah, they're into that.
Nope. That's nope. Nope. That's nope.
I'm with this man.
Yes, a smart answer, Master Soul.
As you all sort of
takes out the bottle of Phoenix piss and holds it out to Pumat.
He's like, he takes it from you and sort of like lifts it and salute. You know, he's sort of leaning out of the cart. And as he does, you see like this shadow just pass over you. And when you sort of look up to see what it was, it's kind of hard to tell because it's still kind of in between you and the sun, which is not quite directly overhead, kind of setting at this point. So it's really just a silhouette. It's definitively not a draconic silhouette.
Okay. So the dragon has not tracked us down.
It is not a dragon. As you look up, it's sort of bank, and
I've got the bow.
Yeah, no, it's.
I was.
I would say, the best way I could probably describe this creature is probably like a mutalisk. If you're familiar with StarCraft.
No.
Okay. All right. Give me a moment.
Well, I was gonna ritual cast gentle.
Oh, that looks gross.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, immediately blades out.
Yeah.
Nope.
Indeed, Master Soul.
Yeah. What? Oh, you want my... Oh, what? My phone has not been charging, apparently.
Oh, dear.
That's weird. Something wrong? Hold on. My kid wants, I need your charger. But my phone hasn't been charging.
Just immediately be like, I suggest that thou takest cover, Master Soul.
That's attacking them now.
Yeah, everyone else in my phone.
Okay. So I'm actually so it's not too late. But I need to call it a slightly early night tonight. So okay. I'm actually going to end it right here.
Okay.
As you hear this sort of high-pitched screech. Now, I would say that since some of you very specifically said that you were keeping a watch out, you are not surprised by this creature. But the whole shadow passing over was just dramatic effect. It doesn't actually surprise you.
Good. I'm glad we're not surprised.
You may have been surprised. But you don't see just one of these. But then there's actually multiple of them. Kind of.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm joining Pomat's soul in his noping.
Nope.
Yeah, you can see four sort of flying in formation almost. Like there's one that was ahead, but then following behind are three kind of in formation, and they sort of like a flock almost of really horrible things. It's kind of hard to tell how big these are because they're flying and far away. But as you're and beginning to react, they seem to sort of spit these large globules of something in your direction.
Here we go again.
That is where we are going to end the night.
I did not want to be right about them flying.
No, none of us did.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, indeed.
Gosh.
Solo was a wise man.
Yeah.
Nope. Dallas has not had enough alcohol for this.
Well, you're holding a whole
bottle
of.
Yeah, yep. I'm gonna take that bottle back and just start drinking it.
Sadly, you don't have the same advantages from getting drunk as not.
No, but it sounds like a real good idea right now.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all for playing. It was super fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. So it looks like we're missing someone next week. But we got most of the crew most of the other days. So we'll figure it out as we go.
Fuck.
Well,
yeah.
I will cry if we miss a week. I might actually cry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Cortanus isn't going to be much use there.
Hey, she has a thing. She has a
Cortanus is
crossbow.
if nothing else,
Yeah.
at least one of the easier characters to Jaeger if we do end up playing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is true.
Right.
Unless it
Wait,
play
door.
Thursday.
Can protect other people
Like-
at least.
There are other characters that are very hard to Jaeger.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you
Yeah.
for
In particular.
She does the Japanese like, concert motions.
Cortanus just turns into like an immersion blender. That's what Cortanus is. This is like an immersion blender.
As long as she stays at least near a couple people, she can help them at least now. She can up AC.
Yeah. So I know weekdays are normally always tricky. But if it's maybe just a combat encounter, we could do a weekday where if everyone's free on the same weekday. We'll figure that out.
I'm pretty much always free after 5 p.m., sometimes 6, but usually 5.
Okay.
It'd be like maybe Tuesday, maybe Thursday. It depends on Drusha's thing.
Well, except Tuesday we're supposed to have Curse of Strahd.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to play for a couple weeks on that one, so
We'll say
Definitely want to catch up on your
Thursday, so
I'm free
It's gonna be
Tuesday.
interesting. Like that one, I might not be able to. Yeah, that one I can't do this week anyway because of my all staff retreat.
So we may not play this week anyway. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
You can Jaeger the Scooby.
Yeah, it's just with only a 4-person party, I prefer not to run. Like,
Yeah, that's
ideally,
fair.
don't want to run when we're missing people.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
we
try
might
to
have-
play at night, but that is like karaoke night where they expect everyone to be there late.
I mean, we might, but hopefully not.
Co-workers for over 2 days.
Fun.
Wait,
fun.
what? Oh,
Yay!
Yep.
Oh no.
In a hotel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it's going to be a little bit heavy this year.
Right.
yeah.